Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm ESO, this is ESO Tarot, and in today's pick a card, pick a heart reading, we are doing one of your favorites, one of my favorites. We are going to be looking at how is the person you're asking about currently feeling about you. So before we get into everything we're doing today, I have a big announcement. And I would like you to tune into my face while my face gives that announcement. You guys, I am so excited to announce, if you haven't heard already, my very first class has finally launched and signups are now until October 1st. It is a tarot and astrology hybrid class that I'm hosting with the amazing K Moon. I've shared her many times on this channel, and we actually went live yesterday or the day before this video was posted and went in depth into what we're going to be covering in the course, as well as doing a Q&A where we answered a lot of your guys' questions. Thank you to everyone who sent them. Definitely feel free to check that out in case you're interested. The sales page is linked down below so you can go in depth and see everything that we're going to be covering. It is an 8-week class with 1 week break in between. And we're going to have live Q&As every single Friday from 2 to 4. So that you guys can come and hang out with us each week and we can talk cards and stars and get your questions answered. So definitely be sure to sign up for that on or before October 1st, because after that, once it's gone, it's gone. Now that being said, when you get the course, you get lifetime access. So even if you're not ready to take the course now, you can always get it and come to it later. And the reason why I say that is because I don't know if this class will ever be offered again. Kay is not one to repeat classes very often, and this is my first one, so I don't know where we go from here. So definitely take this chance now, because there is no guarantee you will have another. But I really hope you do choose to join. We've been working so hard, and I'm really proud of what we've done, and I'm just really excited to get to connect with you guys in a new way and share what I love most, which is good people, fun concepts, learning about interesting things. There will be no math, which that's already great, unless you like math, which in that case, like, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to provide that for you. Okay, that being said, thank you guys so much for all of your support, and yeah. Links down below to sign up, and I can't wait to see you in class. Okay, thank you to my face for giving that very excellent and exciting announcement. Guys, I am so excited to be doing this class. Be sure to at the very least check it out and see if it is for you. This is likely the only time we are going to be doing it. Depending on how this goes though, I might do other classes in the future. So if you guys really enjoy it, hopefully, and you get something out of it, hopefully this is something we can do more of in the future. I probably said all of this in the video just now, so thank you for your patience, because I can't conceptualize what I haven't sat down and filmed in the future yet, so appreciate you. Okay, with that being said, we are going to be looking at 2 things first in the energy check, where we are going to be looking at who this person is that we're going to be channeling and what the energy of your connection is with them. If it doesn't make sense, it is not your reading. If it doesn't resonate, it is not your reading. If it makes you feel confused, stressed, scared, it's not your reading. Stop watching. That being said, if it's someone that you didn't ask about, but it resonates, that's up to you. Feel free to go to the other groups and see if the person you're asking about is there. It's okay if your intuition doesn't find the group that they're in the first time. That's what the energy check is for, is to really let you guys feel more confident in knowing that this group is for you. But with that being said, if it sounds like you, it could be you. So maybe pick another group, unless you want to hear about yourself, which in that case, go for it. If it sounds like you, but it also sounds like your person or the person you're asking about, then it's likely indicative of mirroring. So you just may have to have some discernment around like what's only you or only them versus what's both of you. But if you're in that situation, I'm sure you're intelligent enough to figure that out. Okay. Then, if your reading resonates, we are going to be looking at how they feel about you, the question of the reading, and we're going to clarify those feelings with channeled message cards. And then we're just going to finish off with some guidance. So, gonna be a good, fun reading today, I hope. And yeah, that is all I have there. So we have 4 different groups for you to choose from today. So starting with group number 1, we have this first tarot card and this Thulite heart on top. Then for group number 2, we have this second tarot card and this Selenite heart on top. For group number 3, we have this third tarot card and this Bumblebee Jasper heart on top. And then finally for group number 4, we have this 4th card, I almost said it, and this Snowflake Obsidian heart on top. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. Like I said, it's absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. It's okay if the first group that you pick doesn't resonate for you. It's okay to pick another one and see if there's something for you there. You know, it's all good. But intro squad, my people, hello, how are you? As you can see, this is the first Halloween-ish reading that we're doing. So I want to know, what are your October traditions? What do you celebrate? For my Halloween peeps, like, what was your favorite Halloween costume you've ever been? Or like, I don't know, anything. Like, what's fun in October for you? Like, what do you do? How do you celebrate? I'm really hoping that the place that I live now does a trick-or-treat thing, because I've always wanted to be an adult handing out candy to kids on trick-or-treat. And I know that's okay, that sounds like the beginning of that sentence like sounds bad and weird, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I'm just like, I just want to be part of a community and be generous, which is what you provide for me, so thank you. You let me, yeah, I love you guys. Okay, costumes though, my mom used to make my costumes, and she, when I was a baby, dressed me as a pea, like the vegetable. I might add that because it's kind of funny. And in the 7th grade, I was Snooki from Jersey Shore for Halloween. And I will say, yeah, I earned the prize that I won at my school dance for dressing like Snooki, because I looked a mess, but you know what? It was funny and good for the memories. That being said, that is all I have. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Thulite heart and this Queen of Cups card, this is going to be your reading on how the person you're asking about hopefully is feeling about you. If you do not find the person you're asking about in this group, please go pick another group and see if you can find them there. If it still resonates though, you know, of course, feel free to stick around, but do these energy checks to try to be helpful. So in terms of who this person is, we have the Queen of Cups. Actually, no, you go here. And we have the Snake. And oh, this is what the energy of your connection is with them currently. We have the 9 of Cups and we have Trust. So beautiful and interesting. Maybe that's what they feel about you. I would believe it. This is definitely someone who I would say has your whole heart and vice versa. If you guys are not together, I think it's very clear that it seems like the both of you are kind of heading in that direction. or at the very least, maybe if this is a newer situation, you guys see the situation as very promising. I can tell you just right now that, like, based on whoever this person is, they're incredibly sweet to you, and they're also just very compassionate and understanding in general, but definitely somebody who struggles with confidence a little bit. Like, I think that you see a lot of potential in them, a lot of potential in the connection, or just if you guys are already together, like in a committed relationship, or if that's something you guys would want. I see, like, in terms of how you build a future together, like, there's a lot of untapped potential there. So I feel like you definitely see this person as somebody, I just heard delightful surprise. So, like, maybe for some of you, this person was a delightful surprise. But as I was looking at the snake, I was thinking about, like, maybe for some of you, this person has come back around in your life in a way where maybe they were a part of your past. And the one thing I will say is that if they are a part of your past and they've come back around, they are either different than they were in the past, because if things didn't work out in the past because of behavioral things, their behavior would be different. It would be more mature. It would be more aligned with a mature adult in relationships. But it could also be, if they're the same, and that's a good thing, it could just be that for whatever reason, like, this situation just came around. Maybe you guys never even thought of each other as romantic interest at once. Wow, all of a sudden I'm getting, like, really hot. Like, I'm getting, like, really hot. Like, you know how when you get hot, when you feel, like, embarrassed or, like, shy? That's literally, like, what I feel. Like, I'm literally gonna have to take my English teacher cardigan off, and I don't know who I am without that. So I definitely feel like there's somebody who might seem unassuming on the outside, but when you get to know them, they are just one of the coolest, realest people. The fact that we have the earth signs here, they could be an earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. They do not have to be. And if they do not have Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus placements and this reading still resonates, it's still for you. The absence of a sign does not mean that the reading is not for you. But with that being said, I do think that they are someone who sometimes can be, I want to call it, like, too humble, but it's not even really humbleness. It's more so hiding. It's a like, I feel like they don't see themselves as wonderful as they truly are. And so as a result, you know, it's hard for them sometimes to take the risks that they want to, because they have a big heart and big dreams. And I think that's something that you guys have likely connected on a lot, is that you guys really, like, when you're together, you'll know that this is the person that you're asking about. If when you're together, your heart just feels, like, calm and happy when you're with them, or when you're talking to them. Like, you just feel like, yeah, this feels really good. Like, this just feels really good. And I would also say, if you guys have any sort of, like, psychic connection, and maybe that's not talked about, but, like, you know, maybe one of you says something the other is thinking, or it just seems like you guys almost speak the same language, which I mean, like, you literally will likely do, but I meant more so, like, you know, your own, like, little personal language, like, you guys speak together. And I also think that this is somebody who follows their heart, even when their head is trying to dissuade them. Like, this person has a huge heart, and I think you have their heart. I think they only have eyes for you, and I also think that they just absolutely adore you. I would say that this person is really sweet to you in a way that, even if they're sweet in the outside world, I feel like the way that they treat you, though, is on a different level. Like, they're just, like, so sweet and compassionate. And I definitely feel like they are somebody as well who, like, they can start and stop many things when they're really struggling to feel confident in themselves, or struggling to have a vision, or struggling to see, or just struggling to feel centered and accepted in their own path, or what they're meant to be doing. when they are feeling good, when they are in alignment with themselves, they can be very prosperous and very creative and very, they can make some really cool stuff. And I also think that they're somebody who not only can transform quite easily when they want to, like if they want to make a change, it might take them a few times, but they never stop trying to grow and change. And I think another thing that will cue you in, like who this person is. Oh, also water signs with the Queen of Cups. They could be Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio as well. I do think there are times though where this person is a bit more shy or reserved, or like they don't always express the full breadth of what they're feeling and experiencing because they don't want to overwhelm someone or look stupid. The fact that I literally felt like what it feels like to be embarrassed, I think that they can get shy really quickly. But what I do know is that we'll talk about this in a second, but I do know there was just one more thing I needed to say, and that is that I think the energy of the connection looks really good. I think the only thing that might be kind of questionable is timing. Maybe with this person, you might be feeling like everything is going well and they say it's going well and they agree. So why aren't we at this stage yet? Like you might be feeling like they're moving a little slowly on something. You might be feeling like they need to, or you just might be feeling like there's a lot of potential in this person and things seem promising, but you're uncertain. Because let's look at, I do think that this person is emotionally available when they feel safe, by the way. So this is definitely someone who has big feels and they're not afraid to share them with people that they trust. I think they are incredibly hesitant with people they don't, or I don't think they would in general. But they're also somebody who, they're really genuine. Anyway, the fact that we have trust in the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Cups is the wish come true card. So I have to imagine that for the both of you, this is a really exciting situation to be in. And even if you guys have been together for a long time, like it just seems like you guys are happy and fulfilled. And that is something to be excited about. Maybe for some of you, if you have been with this person for a time, like maybe you forget how exciting and awesome it is, like to be with someone that makes you feel like fulfilled and like this is a wish come true. But for others, it could be that this seems like the connection between the two of you could be a wish come true. Things could evolve into that. And not only that, I feel like you're like, I'm kind of scared. And I would be willing to bet the same on their end. They might be kind of scared just in the sense of, like in terms of almost as if it's like muscle memory. It seems like both of you might be kind of bracing for things to go awry or to fail or for this dream come true to actually be too good to be true. I think that fear is there, but at the same time, I feel like both of you kind of have this feeling like, yeah, I'm afraid, but I need to trust this situation. I need to trust this person. I need to trust what happens. And, you know, if trust is broken, like, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But it does seem like you guys are kind of, even if you have your own reservations or fears, you do trust one another, or at the very least, you're building trust with one another and see each other as trustworthy individuals, people that you feel safe. You guys feel safe opening up to each other and are definitely really feeling good and fulfilled about what's happening here, or you're feeling good and fulfilled about where you guys are headed. So, you know, maybe you're not where you want to be with this person, but it seems like you're getting there and you're trusting in the circumstances that are leading you there. So if that resonates, we're going to go ahead now and see how this person is feeling about you. And I kind of just want to like mess with this. I'll be back. That being said, let's go ahead now and start shuffling your cards. And if you missed it, I have a class coming out very, very soon with the amazing K Moon. It is going to be a cards my tarot and astrology hybrid class, we are going to be looking at the major arcana and as well as a lot of different astrological concepts like the signs, the planets, things like that. We are going to be combining them and really going in depth into these concepts and topics. There's so much. Like, I'm so excited. It's looking really awesome, but definitely check out the sales page or the live that I did recently if you want to get a better idea of what's going to be going on over there, because I'm really proud of it and I am really excited to try something new and for you guys to be a part of that and to connect with you guys in a new way. So yeah, be sure to sign up on or before on October 1st, because signups close then. So can't wait to see you in class. There we go. This deck is not the easiest to shuffle, but it's so dang cute. I have to anyway. So that being said, Spirit, what guidance do you have, or what guidance? Okay, rewind. It's rewind time. Spirit, how is this Queen of Cups person currently feeling about my beautiful, amazing group ones? Oh, okay, they're feeling a lot. All the feels. We have the Six of Wands and the Magician. I'm hearing the Melanie Martinez song, Cry Baby. I don't know why though. I don't even remember what's in there, what that's about, but I don't know, maybe this person would call themselves that, or I don't know, or maybe has called you that, but like not in a like a derogatory way, but in a like, oh, like crybaby kind of way, like it's cute sort of thing. What else? How else are they feeling about group number 1, please? We have the 10 of Pentacles, and finally, how are they currently feeling about? We have the Moon, and on the back of the deck, we have the 4 of Swords. Okay. Letting you see that, but I'm putting it off to the side because it's not going to be something that I'm tapping into a lot, but okay. Now we gotta shuffle your channel messages and get clarifiers, but I see a lot of what I was feeling in here, so I do like to see that. And I don't do reversals in these decks unless like on index like this, unless it like really speaks to me to do, because I'm not going through all these and fixing them. So, or at least I'm not doing that right now or in the near future. So Spirit, can we clarify the Six of Wands? How is the person group 1 is asking about feeling about group 1? How are they feeling about group 1, please? So clarifying the Six of Wands, we have, I am concocting a plan to make you mine, and that really fits with the Magician. What else, please, Spirit? Can you clarify the Magician card? We have Take Your Chances. What about the 10 of Pentacles? Can we clarify the 10 of Pentacles, please? I love you, babe. And finally, can we clarify the Moon, please? I'm playing hard to get. Okay. So, and on the back of the deck, we have I Wish I Could Kiss You. So, this makes a lot of sense. And I have separate interpretations depending on where you're at, in terms of like the progression of this connection, like whether you're in a committed, established relationship and have been for a time, whether you've met each other, whether you're seeing each other. So just bear with me as I go through all of those. But with the Six of Wands and the Magician, this person is pretty determined to see this, not only see this situation through, but face their fears along the way. I think they feel confident in the fact that they may not know what is going to go down between the two of you, but they do know that they sure as hell want to see, because that would be, because the idea of not exploring this is like, that would be crazy to them. That would be like, they would be the dumbest person alive to not pursue this. And I would say that if you guys are already together, I think that they're concocting a plan right now to make a goal that you guys both have been working on. I feel like they're concocting a plan to make that goal a reality. And I feel like they would be doing that kind of like behind the scenes, like concocting a plan to like take some of that load off of your shoulders. But then again, at the same time, if you guys are already together, I think one thing that this person feels is really great and really confident in the sense, because they're not always confident, in the sense that they have you by their side. Like, they feel successful, and they likely are successful because they literally were successful. They're with you. And if they're not with you, I think they do want to be with you. But I also think they are afraid of looking stupid if you don't feel the same way. That's obviously for those of you that are less far along in your journey together. But they really see you as a soulmate. Like, the Magician card, to me, and I've seen it in books as well, talk about the Magician indicating like high-level soulmates. I don't think the label necessarily matters, but I do think they feel a deep soul connection to you. And I think that one of the things that they're feeling right now, if you guys haven't progressed the relationship to commitment yet, or you guys or they felt before you were in a committed relationship, if you already are, they felt this sense of conviction, like on a deep level, where they were like, if I push group one away, if I push this situation away, I have no excuse in the future ever again for my problems, for my desires, because my desires are literally sitting right in front of me, you. And if I'm pushing them away, it's like them realizing it's a me problem. Like, I can't let fear win here, even though they definitely do or did feel fearful. I think if you guys are already in a relationship, though, I do think that there's this understanding that it's a lot easier to succeed and accomplish things when they have you by their side, because they just know you've got their back. They trust you. They trust your vision. They trust your judgment. And also they trust that you have your best interests at heart, which, like, that all came through, and I totally forgot about the trust card. And then I was like, oh, I got the trust card. So that's definitely a thing. I also feel like they love talking to you. They love talking to you about everything and anything. And I feel like also there are times, like, where they want to tell you something and they're too shy to, because, like, maybe they don't want to look stupid, or maybe they like, I don't know, like, they definitely overthink things. But I think that they just, like, whenever they can give you a compliment and you blush, or like you smile, like, makes their day. They love that, which is really, really sweet. And I feel like too, they really love how the rapport that they have with you. I feel like there are risky topics that they've brought up, where they're like, how group one feels about this topic could make or break whether or not we'll be compatible long term. And every time they've done that, they've always been so happy they have, because it makes them realize, like, oh yeah, we are aligned. We do want the same things. We do have the same perspective. And honestly, even if you guys didn't, I feel like they would still be like, okay, how do we bridge that gap? Like, obviously, it's not that you guys have to agree on everything, but, you know, certain things that, like, maybe would impact compatibility or just, like, quality of life for the both of you, I do think that they would find ways to make it work for the both of you, unless there was something, like, a complete, like, I think part of them was afraid to bring things up because, like, what if it's a complete, like the ideological differences are so different, like, we can't have a cohesive vision of the future. Like, that's just an example. I'm not saying that's the case. That would be something where, like, I feel like even then they would still try and at least see, because that's how much they care. Like, that's how strongly they feel. And I feel like they feel really confident around their friends, like knowing that they have someone like you by their side. I do think they kind of play a little bit of comparison to like their friends' significant others, or people that their friends are seeing, and just being like, wow, I'm really lucky. And if you guys are not together yet, I think that they are really hoping that they will be successful in making you theirs. But I think that they want to be in the right position to do that. Like and I'm kind of realizing now too, with this snake and all that potential energy and the feeling of waiting, you know, it's possible that they're feeling like they need to accomplish something before some significant event can happen in your relationship. I don't know what that would be. Maybe it's like being committed. Maybe it's taking the next steps. I don't know. But what I do know is they're still making plans around it, and they have all plans and intentions to be successful. That being said, with this 10 of Pentacles and I love you, I do think they love you whether they've told you that or not. I do think they genuinely feel so much love for you, and I think it might be a little bit more confusing if you guys haven't known one another long enough, because typically love between, you know, people develops over time. Well, I guess not typically, I guess everything is different and unique, but I do feel like they are in this for the long haul. Like, they see a future with you. I feel like if it's possible, they want a family with you, or they want to blend or merge your families. More than that, though, I feel like they want to build a legacy with you where you guys are setting up your future generations for success, where you're setting yourselves up for success, and where you guys just truly like build your own empire and build it together as equals, like an actual power couple. And I also think that they I don't think they, okay, well, I guess I can't assume where you're at. I don't know if they've told you the extent of how far in the future they still see you and them like together. Like, I mean, I think like for a lot of you, I mean, with skeletons, like hello till death, but I mean in the sense that they're that sure, and that they're that sure that they would be willing to say right now, like, yes, I would be willing, like I want to do life with group one. Like, I think that they just feel so much love for you, and I feel like if you guys have been together for a while, I think they get their heart is really moved by just the time that you've shared together, and how you guys have evolved together, and how you've built your lives together. And I feel like that really just makes them feel really good. Like, I think one thing that they really love are objects or items that are either yours, that if you guys don't live together, like you leave at their place. Like, they love when you forget something, because it just makes them feel like they get to keep a piece of you. But if you guys do live together, I think some of their favorite like objects and items in your home are things that you guys got together on meaningful trips, or just things that are significant to you guys. Like, they love that they can look at like a little cookie jar and be like, oh, that's the cookie jar we got at the flea market on the day that on the day that we went to the park and I had fun together. As you can see, my creative muscles are not in hyperdrive right now, but you get what I'm saying. Like, beautiful, positive memories. And I think that they feel like they just want to make so much more with you, and I feel like they might want to make more people to make more memories with you, if that's possible. And that's something you both want. I definitely think in general, like, they just see you as somebody who they would go the distance for. Like, they are somebody who you are somebody that they would make a lot of sacrifices for, and it's possible they already have. You might see that in the future, but I do think, like, even if the timeline of the relationship is not where you want it to be, like, part of the reason why that might be is literally because they have this vision of like, I want to sacrifice my time now to get to a place where I want to be, so I can give more of myself, or so that I can you know, be able to do the things that I want to do with group one, to be able to give my time and energy to group one the way I want to. They could be doing something like that. I definitely think that they are patient, and I think that they are also trusting in the idea that this situation isn't going anywhere. And that doesn't mean that they're being complacent. If anything, it just gives them the courage and the confidence to keep going, and to keep working really hard, and to keep building towards that future. And then with the moon being here, and I'm playing hard to get, I feel like they have a really hard time reading you. And I think both of you might have a little mirroring situation going on where you might get a little bit like, you guys just might not be at a place where you share everything yet, or share certain feelings, or may not want to be annoying to the other, or may just not know where the other is at, like if you haven't had certain conversations. So I do feel like for this person, I do think a part of them is a little bit shy and hesitant when it comes to opening up more. Like I feel like they have a hard time reading you, and so you guys might get into this situation where you might be matching their energy. And if they're being cautious because they're unsure of how you feel, it kind of leads to like a stalemate where you guys are being a little bit more reserved and kind of like following the lead of the other. So things go slower. They might get more confusing. The lack of clarity on why that's occurring might create insecurities or misunderstandings. I definitely think though, they might just also have fears as well. Like, you know, what if they lose interest in me? I don't think though that that's something like with the I'm playing hard to get. Like, I feel like they realize how silly and dumb that is. I don't feel like that's something that's gonna last. However, I am kind of lying about that. Well, not literally. I wouldn't ever literally lie. Because I can't. I'm a terrible liar. And also I don't want to. I'd be like, my psyche can't take stuff like that. I keep my side of the street clean. Now my room is a different story, but that's not important. Now I'm just rambling. Okay. With this moon card being here, I do feel like if you've been in a relationship with this person for a while now, I do think that they could play hard to get, like in a cutesy, gamey way, to feel more wanted by you, and just like it's like, it's sweet, like it's making me smile. Like it's not something like genuinely like toxic game playing going on. But I do think that if there is a lack of clarity and uncertainty, I think that your person feels that as well. I do think that there is kind of a playing it safe going on, because I think that this person kind of already sees it as incredibly dangerous to be in relation with you, like to be in a connection with you. And that's not because they don't trust you or you're a dangerous person. They do trust you. They just don't trust that what if it doesn't work out? What if something happens? Like, I think that the part of them that just wants to protect their big loving heart, you know, that's just like afraid of like, oh gosh, what's gonna happen? And so it's like, while all of this, it's like the beautiful, loving, positive energies that are here, they're way more powerful than that fear, than that unknowing, that like, yeah, but what if? And I think that when they do get in that, yeah, but what if, they might like retreat a little bit. And that's not because they're unsure about you. It's because they're literally just taking time to regulate themselves. But also, if they do this, I don't think it is conscious. They might have the hopes of like in retreating that they'll get the reassurance that you'll still reach out to them, that you'll still talk to them. Because they do really, really care about you. And they might also really like that ass. They might really be into that. But that is what I see in terms of what they are feeling for you. So let's go ahead and finish off with your guidance cards. So we have consider your foundation. Look at how committed you are to love. So I would definitely see this as guidance to look at the foundation you guys are already building, and maybe see, you know, are there any areas where that would make you guys stronger? Like maybe are there things that you need to communicate about, or are there things that you just need to like let time pass for? I feel like you guys are in the process of building a solid foundation right now, or you guys have already been building that foundation and now you're really starting to build even further. And that might be a little bit scary because it's like even more real, and you know, time is passing and it's just like more things are happening, and it's possible that might be overwhelming and a little bit scary. And I feel like the guidance there is to remember how you guys started, and the fact that you're here, while yes, the unrelenting passage of time can be quite a bitch and be quite scary, it is also the fact that you're there with them. It's literally just a reflection of how far you've come together. And so I think rather than feeling afraid of what the future holds or afraid of how fast time is passing, reflect on how beautiful the time that you guys have spent together is and how strong that foundation is, that you have already built, so that you can like because I feel like for some of you, you know, life happens and things get chaotic. You might like start to worry, you know, just are things still going the way that I hope them to? And if you guys have a strong foundation, I feel like that's something you can always return to and remember, like, oh yeah, like things are good. Like if they weren't, we have these things set up, like we would do that and we would figure it out. We also have practice compassion, see things from a fresh perspective. And I would say the biggest thing here is just like, the biggest blockage to intimacy between the two of you is allowing your insecurities to stay hidden and unacknowledged. Shame loves secrecy. Shame loves to hide in the shadows, because when we bring our shame out and we actually talk about it, it dissipates the emotional energy around it. Because a lot of times what we feel shame around are very human things that we really don't even need to carry shame for. And so I do think there are times where maybe you might feel shame of like, oh, I feel insecure, but I don't want to be annoying, or I don't want to share about that, or oh, like I'm feeling insecure because they haven't talked to me and I want to know what's going on, but at the same time, like I don't want to be intrusive, or you know what I mean? Practice compassion for yourself when you do get overwhelmed, when you do get fearful, when you do want to run away from the good things that happen to you, because somehow it's like, yeah, life is hard when it's hard, but when good things happen, somehow receiving that is hard too. What? Like, I feel like you might just have compassion for yourself around the fact that, like, yeah, that's an experience that exists, and it doesn't mean you don't want to be where you are. It just means that, like, a human's human no matter what situation they're in, and the brain's braining, yours included. We also have, the trigger statement is, no one understands me, and the true statement is, I ask for what I need. From a place of love, you need to stand up and speak your truth. What you wish for is what the universe wishes for you. And I also think that there are things that, if you talk to this person about them, they will have no idea that you were feeling that way, or that was going on. Like, that part of this moon card, I hope I said that, was that they have a hard time reading you. They have a hard time knowing what's going on. And so instead of reading what's going on in your energy, they're likely projecting their fear of what might be happening onto you. And I think you probably do the same thing to them. And it's not that necessarily creates any conflict or problems, but I do think it can create just like this silent insecurity and fear that you carry that, you know, isn't even rooted in truth and takes up space internally that doesn't need to be there. I definitely think the more you can just share what your needs are and just share and like be authentic, the more you realize like it is safe to talk to each other. And also it's a lot easy, like things flow more easily when you're not afraid to just share like what you're needing. And we also have take your time, ask for help, more information is coming. So if you're like, I'm not ready to have certain conversations yet, then wait. But also I would say as well, considering the aspect of timing was a thing here, I would trust that there's a reason why things are not where you want them to be quite yet. But I will say I've been learning a lot of lessons right now, good lessons around just like timing and faith, and how, you know, things usually really work out in ways that our linear minds can't conceive of. in the moment. And I really do think the universe is saying, like, you can trust this situation, you can trust yourself, trust what impulses come up, and trust where your heart is leading you. But also don't feel like you need to rush things in order to be entirely sure. You guys are building a solid foundation right now, or continuing to build upon that solid foundation. And I think you guys deserve to savor those experiences. And on top of that, I think if you've been in a relationship with this person for quite a while, it's possible as well, like a mutual goal that you guys are working on could take more time. And I think if it does, it's in both of your best interests. But lavender is also a great scent for anxiety relief. I mean, like, I can't say that the scent of lavender has cured my anxiety, but I will say it actually is kind of helpful, even if it's just a placebo thing. Like, I find it helpful. You might want to check that out. Maybe it'll just help ground you and center you and not get stuck in rumination. But group number 1, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to support my channel and show appreciation for the work that I do. But if you would like to support me in other ways, you can sign up for my class, because it's going to be so much fun, and I'm like so excited to do it. Definitely sign up. Go sign up, please. You can, although I am sorry if you do come to this after the date that sign-ups close. I hope you get there before then. You can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates, subscribe if you haven't already, be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, social media, videos, the extendeds, other videos in general. You can share me with a friend. Candles, be sure to use code ESO10 for 10% off on AngelicMagicArt site. You can send me love. I'm sending you love right back. You can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag. My PayPal is my email. Thank you to everyone who does that. It is greatly appreciated. You can leave me like a super chat even, or you just send me some good vibes. I'm sending you them right back. So that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope these messages resonated. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Selenite heart and this moon tarot card, this is going to be your reading on how the person you are asking about is currently feeling about you. So full breakdown of the reading in the intro. And if you get confused about this energy check part, if this does not resonate, this is not your reading, I would try a different group. The energy check is here to help you find the right group for you. Yeah, so we are going to look at who this person is and what the energy of the connection you have with them is. So your first card describing who this person is, we have the moon. We also have Scorpion. And then in terms of the energy of the connection, we have Strength and Flirt. So this to me definitely speaks to someone that you likely have a very intense pull towards, a very intense connection to. And I think it's really interesting too, because in this moon card, there's this tiny separation between these two wolves. And I think that this person that you're asking about is a very intense person, but also very mysterious. Like, they do kind of give me that person who would even almost intentionally try to be mysterious by like just not talking to people and kind of like keeping to themselves. This is definitely someone who is very intense, very passionate. I also think they can be very funny around the right person, and so maybe that's you, because I do think that they have a knack for banter. But I also think there are some people that cannot handle banter with this person, because I do think that this person can be a bit like ruthless. Like, I don't know if I would want this person like jesting with me, because I feel like they would see some like, they would intuitively feel some sort of like traumatic thing from my childhood, and then like, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of have that knack without even trying to. But I also think that this person is somebody who maybe you are feeling kind of confused around or are wondering like what is truly them. Because I definitely feel like while this person is super emotional, they are very good at not showing it. Actually very good about showing it. Like if this person is a moon, they're a new moon. Because you ain't seen shit in terms of emotions. Like they don't do that very flippantly. And I think partially that is because the depths at which they do feel are very deep, and they have let people in and gotten hurt in the past. But also at the same time, I think there is something deeply uncomfortable to them about being seen at that level. But at the same time, and I can see it here, there is a resonance that you strike in them where like I do feel like there is a bit of a magnetism, like you guys pull, it's like you're pulled towards one another. But then like I was talking about this tiny little degree of separation, it's like it seems like there is some barrier that is, and the strength card kind of shows this, getting in the way of you guys opening up more and going more in depth. And what those reasons might be different. Maybe you want to and they don't. And if they don't, we'll look at why when we go into their feelings. It would likely have to do with just self-protection or the fear of getting hurt. I also think it's possible too as well that this person could have unresolved emotions about past experiences that they haven't yet let go of, because this person can really hold on to grudges. They can just hold on to a lot without even maybe really realizing it. I will say the signs that we do see here, we have a lot of fire and a lot of water. And the strongest water energy I see, well, we have two strong water energies. I mean, we have Pisces and Scorpio. We also have Cancer. And it might be confusing if you don't know tarot, but the moon actually correlates to Pisces in the major arcana. And Cancer actually correlates to the Chariot, which are things we're going to learn about if you join me in my class. But Cancer also is one of the signs that could be, because it's still a water sign. And with the fire signs, we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And Leo could be extra strong. Leo energy could be strong here as well, because we have the strength card here. And I do think that Leo energy, maybe both of you have Leo placements, or both of you have, no matter what, the energy of the connection is really showing that you guys kind of, I wish that one of the hardest parts about channeling is putting what you're seeing visually into like words. And so one of the things that I'm seeing here is almost like, and they're not formed into human things. So I have to like, okay, so I'm trying to form this into something human that would make sense. I guess it kind of is like a mask a little bit. Like you guys do kind of have a mask around each other, but it's a mask of playing it cool. But there's also like this strong, intense need to be like the one that isn't vulnerable first. I feel that heavily between the two of you, where it's kind of like there's a little bit of a standoff here, and also a flirtatious banter type thing happening here. And I think that there is a lot of attraction. And so I think the connection itself, the energy of it right now is one where there's a lot of like curiosity and confusion, but also at the same time, there is a bit of like, it's almost like there's this invisible wall between the two of you, and that wall represents like true intimacy and togetherness that I feel like you guys have not experienced yet with this person. Or, you know, if you haven't passed with them, I would say it's been quite a long time since you've had that sort of like emotional intimacy with them. And that would make this Scorpion actually make more sense, because it's possible that whatever happened in your past, they may still not be over, or like they may still have unresolved emotion around that. But for the vast majority of you, I do feel like this is just more so speaking to the fact that this person, the person you're asking about, does kind of tend to be more of an isolated person. And that's not to say that they're not social. I do think that this person could be social depending on just, you know, their level of introversion or extroversion. But even in a crowded room of people, they're still on their own island, because they don't really share their inner self with a lot of people. And I definitely feel like in terms of the connection between the two of you, I feel like there's so much attraction, a lot of curiosity, maybe even a little bit of obsessive tendencies because there's just so much desire to know, like, why, like, what is this, like, what's going on. And I also feel like when you look at this person, you're also kind of recognizing, like, this person could have the capacity to really hurt me. And I also don't know if they're genuine. I feel like they don't show a lot to you, so it's hard to know whether they have true and genuine intentions towards you or not. And I think the hard thing about that is that someone can have true and genuine intentions towards us, and then at the same time also be fearful and be kind of trying to balance those energies within themselves. That might be the two wolves fighting within them, so to speak. I definitely think, though, there's like this very primal energy between the two of you, and I think there's a lot of attraction. I think that like the energy here really reminds me of like two main leads in literally anything, where they have this, like, it reminds me of like Marvel-esque banter, but make it a little bit edgier and darker and not for like corporate like, okay, you're probably gonna hate this comparison, but it does fit. Like, the way that, if you've ever seen the TV show Archer, the way that Lana and Archer flirt with each other really reminds me of this. Now, that is the only comparison I'm making. I'm not saying that anything else is like that, because if you've seen the TV show Archer, you would know why I'm like, you might not like this comparison, but ideally, I would hope this person is not like Archer in any way, but if they are, that might be something to pay attention to, because that might be a challenging person to be involved with. So I can definitely see right now, like, you're very much in a place where you're like, what is this intensity? Like, do they feel it, or are they just flirting back with me? Like, they definitely feel it. They feel drawn to you too, and they feel a strong, like, draw to you. I feel like you guys also, though, like, even though there's a little bit of protective ego going on, where you guys are like, you know, playing it cool, making sure like that you are fun and not taking things too seriously and being light, but at the same time there's this really strong, intense bond that I think that is kind of wigging the both of you out, which understandable, because that can be very intense, and the conscious mind is like, what is this? I was literally thinking in bed last night, actually, you know, just about the fact that, like, love doesn't make logical sense, and that's kind of how you can really know what it is because your brain's like, I don't know. I'm not saying that this is love, but just in general, like, a lot of emotional experiences, the logical mind is utterly useless in comprehending it. And so I think that between the two of you, there's and that's so interesting too. I didn't even realize it. In some decks, strength is number 8, and in other decks, strength is number 11 in terms of the major arcana. In this deck, it's a number 11, which is fine. And I like it actually for this reading, but I am very much in camp. Strength should be number 8 and justice should be number 11, but it's fine. It's fine. They're both neither of them are wrong, just my preference. But I like that this is an 11 in this deck, because I also think that this 11 shows that you guys are kind of mirroring each other, and I also think you guys show up in masculine energy around each other. I feel like both of you kind of like get in this place of wanting to put your best foot forward, but at the same time not reveal the depth of like the feelings that you stir in one another. But at the same time, it's like you do want to put forth enough so that the other knows, like, yes, there is interest here, but also at the same time, like, I don't really know who you are quite yet, and I'm kind of terrified of you, and I'm terrified that you're going to hurt me, and I'm terrified that this is all in my head, and I'm terrified that I'm going to look really stupid, and you know what, I'm terrified, and I think that you both have that going on deep down, and yeah, really interesting. So let's go ahead now and look at their feelings and get into this reading. I'm gonna move these cards and then we'll do it. So I turned the camera off actually for the last two that I did with this. I guess we'll just put them up here. I mean, what are we gonna do here? And it took me like 2 seconds, and I was like, why did I do that? Okay, so we are going to shuffle these tarot cards. I love this deck. I'm pretty sure it's just called like the Skeleton Tarot. And see what their feelings are for you, which is honestly a really great question to ask about this person, because they do be feeling things quite deeply. And I also think that there is a really soft, sensitive side to them that would honestly shock people to see. I think that people that have really hurt this person have like, this person has lashed out at them. And so I think that people are like, wow, like, you know, this moon person, like, they're kind of mean or something like that. And that's the thing, is like, they're not mean, like, they never intend to hurt people. But I do think, like, in their past, they've had people that would go to great lengths to get a reaction out of this moon person because they wouldn't show a reaction, and then they would snap. And then the person that caused them to snap would then be like, why would they do that to me? It's like, maybe because you effed around and you found out. That's why. Yeah, Joy, yeah, you definitely don't want to ever own this person because you will find out. That being said, though, thank you for being here. And just quick reminder, sign-ups for my class do end October 1st. So if you want to check that out, please do. It's going to be really fun. Yeah. But just thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me read for you. This is a hard deck to do bridge shuffle with, but I hope my copious amounts of strength impress you. Ha! Maybe they should. All right, okay. So, how is this person currently feeling about group 2, please? Okay, we have the Chariot. How is this person feeling about group 2? We have the 5 of Pentacles. How is this person feeling about group 2? We have the Tower. One more. How is this person feeling about group 2? We have Temperance. Okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. What's on the bottom? Oh, and the High Priest is on the, or Hierophant is on the bottom of the deck. That makes sense. Okay, so let's clarify these now with my little channeled messages make a deck. Let's see where we can go a bit deeper. If I can get the cards up, that is. And I did cut the deck. I don't know if you guys saw it because it might be off camera, but I did just see a card that says I'm just as weird as you are. And I do think that is something that draws you to each other. I also would say if there are aspects or like there are parts where you're like, wait, is this just me? No, this is an excellent example of where like mirroring is occurring. And I would also say as well, like, especially given how little this person reveals about themselves, there could be a tendency within you to be like, okay, I think that this is just me. But I think if part of you knows, like, no, I think that this is why, because like I feel like a kindred spirit type of energy. So that might be why it feels like we're just talking about you, but that's not the case. We're definitely talking about them as well. It's just you may not have the context yet to realize like, oh wow, they do have a lot of similarities to me. And I will also say that it's possible as well, you guys could have a lot of qualities that are like on paper, like the root of them are the same thing, but the semantics of how they manifest are different. So I'm trying to think of an example. Like I've got plenty, but they're not coming to my brain. So I'm just going to shuffle these. And if I think of one, I'll say it. But can we clarify the Chariot, please? How is this person currently feeling about group 2? We have, I just need a sign. But it did come in reverse. And I did say, I don't really take reversals in this group, but I almost kind of wonder if I want to leave it that way. We'll look more deeply, but what about the 5 of Pentacles? What is the person group 2 is asking about currently? What are they currently feeling about them? Reach for what you want the most. Okay, what about the Tower? Clarify the Tower. We're at the right place at the right time. And Temperance, please. So I've been watching you. And on the bottom of the deck, we have Do You Like Me Better Now? Okay. Wow. So let's just talk about the fact that like 3 out of 4 of your cards are major arcana cards. Like that is pretty significant to me because it just goes to show how big your influences, in terms of this person's emotional body, in terms of how they perceive you. With the Chariot being here, I feel like this person, they know how they feel about you. They have this draw towards you. And I almost might even say that meeting you or you coming into their life is a bit of a tower moment for them, where this is what I see. They're not confused on how they feel about you. I think they think you're wonderful. And I know they think you're wonderful. And I know that they also find you to be what's the best way to word this? You always show more than they, or I guess like you always exceed expectations. Not like they expect things of you, but rather they just underestimate you and underestimate, or they have, and every time they interact with you, they're like, wow, I really underestimated group 2. Like, I think that if you can keep up with them, like banter wise, I think that they find them to be really, really attractive. And I think that this person, and man, I have so much compassion for this because I get it, and you probably get it too. When you are a very emotionally sensitive person and you have a lot of deep emotional, like just a lot of deep emotions in general, it can be hard to maintain a state of balance just in general, because it can be sometimes like you're just stuck under the weight of what you're carrying. And I think that where this person has been, they've been in a place where they've been moving forward in life quite solidly, or they've been in a place where they've at least had balance. And I think that they also see, though, that there's great potential for even more, like, they see a lot of potential, like, with you in general. There's a part of them, though, that is, like, part of them that is guarded because they're like, okay, what if this fails? And I get completely off track. Like, what if I fail? I feel like there's definitely a huge part of them that is like, I don't want to be involved in something unless I know it's going to be a success, which is something that they are going to have to contend with on their own, because I feel like they don't even really consider, like, what if things work out. And the fact that I just need a sign is in reverse, I feel like they have been getting a lot of signs. I feel like that's why I put it back in reverse, is because, like, I feel like they have gotten signs. I feel like they've gotten signs from you, and I feel like they've gotten signs, like, universally that that remind them of you, and that, like, kind of indicate this feeling of, you can go for this. I think that there is a part of them that doesn't trust themselves, because they're like, oh, I feel like I should just be focusing on, you know, pragmatic sorts of things, or, you know, if they are in a more emotionally balanced place and they've just kind of been doing their own thing, I do think there is a part of them that is hesitant to open up. Like, they are kind of afraid of seeing where things go, even though they definitely have the desire to, and I think they have the intention to. They're just kind of waiting for, I believe, the courage to kind of accept that they can't control the outcome here. That's the biggest thing, is they know that they can't control. And actually, if this person has been controlling, that has been the reason why their past relationships have failed. But at the same time, part of that controllingness could come from being with someone that also was very dishonest. And they could have had, like, a really messy, toxic dynamic with someone that they're still growing and healing from, and they haven't recognized. Like, in their mind, they're like, well, I've been in a serious relationship with someone that I really cared about before, and it completely derailed my life and caused all these problems. And so they're still putting the pieces together that, like, not every experience is the same as what you've had in the past. And with this 5 of Pentacles and reach for what you want the most, I think there is a part of them that is acknowledging their emotional world has been a little dry, and the fact that we do have the moon here, these emotions, like I do feel like they want to get closer to you. I feel like they want to dive more deeply into this connection and see what it is. And with the Five of Pentacles being here, I do think part of what's holding them back are things related to low self-esteem. Although I do think that like depending on who this person is, like for some of you, this person will have a better self-esteem than others, but they might recognize like how their past experiences influenced their self-esteem, in the sense that like they know that, well, okay, well, I'm in a good place now, but what if things don't work out and then I'm really gonna feel like a worthless loser. It's them being worried about bridges that haven't even been built yet. But I do think they really want to explore things more. And with the Tower here, and we're at the right place at the right time, I feel like this person knows that if you guys continue to get closer and open up to one another, things are going to change. Like their life is going to change. And the stability that they've found in their own recovery and healing process from past experiences, they know that that will shift, and they don't know what that will look like. They also know, with this High Priest being on the back of the deck, that they are a very serious person, especially when it comes to relationships. And so they're feeling, they're kind of, I feel like they're giving it up to the universe a little bit, like not in the sense that they're relinquishing their own agency, but just in the sense of wanting the universe to sort of provide an opportunity to create a circumstance where neither of you has to be the one to initiate vulnerability, but rather it happens organically. Like I think they're feeling like there's either going to be an event that allows this to happen naturally, or they're hoping there's an event that allows this to happen naturally. Because I do think already meeting you and getting to know you, I think really messed them up a little bit, because they were like, oh no, I thought I was done having feelings for other people. I thought I was just gonna be alone and be happy with that. It's like, really, you with the emotional depth of the Marianas Trench, you thought you were just gonna be happy alone, living a life detached from your emotional body. That's a very interesting thought. It's a very interesting thought. I don't know. I think the universe is like, that's cute. We have someone we want you to meet. And it's you. And with Temperance being here and been watching you, first of all, I feel like if you have any social media, they have been perusing that. And on top of that, I feel like what's really cool, and this is actually the most recent feeling that they've had, is this awareness of like, you are sparking like realizations in them that they've never had before, where I think that if this person typically thinks in black and white, which is kind of funny considering the cards, you're showing them that things don't have to be either or, that they don't have to be this or that, like that things can happen all at once, and that all, like, you can have multiple experiences, you can be multiple things. And I think that that has been very enlightening to them, because I think that in their mind they've had certain ideas and labels about themselves and about what people expect of them and what they expect of themselves. And I think that one thing they notice is that when they're around you, they don't feel like you expect anything of them. I think if anything, they feel this kind of like, why are you interested in me? And I feel like with this Temperance card here, if you are someone who's more philosophical or spiritual, I think that they love talking to you about topics like that. I feel like you've brought some really insightful stuff to them. And also Archangel Michael could be significant in some way. Maybe they're starting to realize that they can be safe in this, and that like they can explore it. I also feel like, though, they've been observing you for a while now, just to kind of see, like, not in a creepy way, but just in the sense that that's maybe partially why things haven't opened up emotionally quite yet, is because I think that they are giving things time to see if your energy changes, if you change up on them. It's like they feel like you guys meld really well together, you mesh really well together, and they really like that. But they're also wondering, like, is this for real though, or is this just something that I'm making up in my head, or is this who they truly are, or you know, is this just the person that they present? So I definitely feel like they're kind of trying to figure you out a little bit, and at the same time I also feel like they're trying to stay balanced as they navigate these aspects of themselves, like the part of them that wants to stay hidden and isolated and safe and keep the world out, and the part of them that wants to love and live and laugh and be decor from Hobby Lobby, you know? And with the High Priest on the back of the deck, I do feel like they have very serious principles around, like, relationships, around morality, around beliefs. And I think it really does matter to them that they don't get into something unless they fully know what they're getting themselves into. Like, I think that there is a part of them that knows already intuitively that this is something really significant, and they feel that pull too. They feel very excited when they're around you. They feel very like you guys just kind of mesh really well together, like things are really easy. And I also wonder too if you guys are around a lot of if you guys are like coworkers or something like that. I do feel like there's a part of them that is thinking in order to pursue this, they do need to find a different job or something like that. And so I think there's a part of them trying to figure out, okay, if I do make this decision, what do I do here? I feel like there's just this knowing that once a threshold is crossed, there's really no going back. And so I see them kind of standing in the doorway. That song, who sings that? Is it Bob Dylan that sings Standing in the Doorway? Or is it I don't know, one of those cool guys with a guitar? Is it Jim Morrison? I don't know. One of you knows and you'll tell me. So thank you to whoever brings it up. But I do feel like they're also, though, if you came into their life in a very spontaneous way, I do feel like they kind of feel there was some divine element of it, but it has shooken them up a little bit. They do feel very passionately towards you, and I do feel they kind of want to be, I feel like you guys might be around each other in maybe more professional environments, or in environments where you can't really like let your guard down in terms of like maybe there are other people around you. I do feel like there is a part of them though that's feeling like maybe they need a little liquid courage in order to open up more. But yeah, I think they are really just trying to figure out, what do I do here? Like, how do I parse what's important to me? And because they know that you could be very important to them, and that this could be very important and very significant. And I think they're just trying to sort out, you know, what am I ready for? And because I think that there's also an aspect of them as well where they're like, if I am not ready for this, or if I can't give group 2 what they need, I don't want to hold back group 2 from anyone else, because they definitely think you are wonderful. But I think at the same time, they're having this thought of like, yeah, but I don't want to see them with anyone else. And that is getting wheels turning, and they're starting to figure things out. So we're just going to finish this reading off with some small guidance cards for you and just see what Spirit wants you to know about this situation. So to start, we have Take a Chance on Love. When we love, our lives are changed forever. If you've been like feeling called to ask this person out, like, hey, like, do you want to go get a drink, or do you want to go check out this brewery, or do you want to go to the park, or do you want to do this or that? Like, invite them to something. I definitely think that they will want to go. Like, I think the only way they would say no is if they were literally busy. Or for some of you, this person could be a little bit traditional in the way where they're like, no, but I would like to take you there. And they'll be like, I want to ask you out. Like, it's sweet, but I want to do that.
because I feel like there's a part of them as well, like with you opening the door, like they do want to step in, but there's also that part of them that's like, but what if I do step in, and then what if something happens, or I realize this isn't right, or I realize I can't be that person, and now we're in this thing where it's going to cause pain, and then I'm going to be destabilized, and then I'm going to hurt someone that I really care about. So that's really where they're at. And I do think that, and I feel this very deeply. I think their passion is a lot more powerful than their fear. And I think that's why they really can't stop themselves from thinking about you, from wanting to be around you. If you guys are at a distance, I definitely feel like they want to come to you. And I also think that they, with the Five of Pentacles being here, they could really miss you if you haven't seen them in a hot minute. But yeah, I do think that and this is kind of just confirming they know that, like, if they take this chance, their life is going to change in a way that they can't control, and it's going to change in a way that alters the course of their life moving forward. So I think they're just kind of trying to psych themselves up and also get as much information as possible so that they can make the most educated risk possible. Because I think there's more so like, there could be a little bit distrust of romantic interests, just because it seems like some of them haven't been, like, I feel like this person has been manipulated before, and so I think that they're just trying to make sure, like, you're not like that. I feel like they don't think you're like that. They don't feel like you're like that. I swear to God, you guys, I have had what sounds like footsteps on my ceiling for all day. And I don't have an attic. Nobody's on my roof. And in Christmas, Santa's not here. I don't know what's going on, so sorry if you heard that. But anyway, other guidance. We have shift, fast results, break the cycle. It's okay to change direction. So while I do feel like getting to a point of closeness and intimacy might take time, I feel like once that portal is open and you move through it, things are going to change really, really, really fast. And I also think as well, while this energy that I'm feeling and sharing with you, it's in the moment that you're watching this reading. So know, though, that energy shifts and changes all the time. Like, for example, you know how your energy changes the minute, like, your best friend walks in the room, or your energy changes the minute, like, the person that stresses you out walks in? That's how quickly energy can change. And so I think for this person, they're gonna have some sort of realization where they're like, that's kind of part of that tower too, where they're, and it might actually be when you're hanging out and having some sort of drinkity drink, where you realize, like, where this person realizes, like, yeah, I don't want to miss out on this. I don't want to say no to this. I want to see where this goes. Yeah, they need to be in acceptance of what can happen when we open our hearts, because we can't control that. So the trigger statement is, I cannot trust anyone, and the true statement is, everyone deserves my love. I open my heart to heal and release. I open myself to the peace of divine love and grace. And so I think as well for you, it's funny because I feel like I'm giving more so guidance to this person than I am to you, but I feel like I am also giving it to you because you guys mirror so much. And I really do think that it's hard not to feel fearful when your heart's involved and there's so much uncertainty and, like, so many fears. But I do think that accepting just the fact that those are there, and also that this is just part of the process, and knowing that it'll all be okay, I do think that'll be helpful. And the fact that we have the heart chakra here, like, just trust your heart and trust what it's telling you and trust where it leads you. But also at the same time, make sure you're putting yourself first, and not sacrificing any of your boundaries or morals or values to appease this person. I don't think really any of you are. And just as a general blanket, hey, this is a general reading, so please make sure you're putting yourself first. But I do think that this person, they are being moved more and more every day towards seeing the light rather than the fear of this situation. And I also feel like the center of gravity, like the gravity of being pulled to fear versus the gravity that they feel of being pulled to you. Your gravity's stronger, I just gotta say. So know that, and believe in yourself and believe in your worth, and trust yourself and trust the impulses that you have. Like if you have an impulse to ask them out, or if you have an impulse to say like, hey, like, thanks for calling and checking in on me last night. That really meant a lot to me. Or maybe you have an impulse to call them and just like be like, hey, I was just thinking of you, just wanted to check in. I don't know. I just think like small things, if you tell them like, thanks for doing that, or I really love talking to you, I really love hearing from you, like things like that, just sharing that stuff I think will be really meaningful to them, and kind of help them recognize, oh, I think this does go both ways. Because I think that's the part there where they're like, they're still trying to figure out how you feel about them. So yeah, I think they might be finding out kind of soon. Group 2, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That is at least for the first 30 seconds, that is the simplest and easiest way to show support, appreciation for my channel. But other ways to do that are to leave me a like, which is super helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below letting me know how it resonated or what you'd like to see. As long as it's not no love readings, because I'm not stopping them, but I don't think that you're doing that. But you can sign up for my class. That's a great way to support me. It's also a great way to support K Moon, and it's a great way to learn about both tarot and astrology at the same time. And it's going to be really good, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and it's going to be an 8-week-long class. And I don't want to brag, but given the high quality of the content that we are producing and everything we are providing, like workbook and things like that, is a really good deal. Like, you are getting over half off, because we actually like want you guys to take the class, and honestly, in this economy, like, we want to be as helpful as possible. So definitely go check that out. Other ways to support me, you can leave me a tip. Cashapp is palehag. My PayPal is my email. Check out candles, merch, social media, all that jazz. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I love you guys so much, and I really hope this reading resonated. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. I know that was a little bit of a weird intro. Usually I'm more fluid, and that's because I was about to sneeze and then I couldn't. And whenever I sneeze in situations like this where I'm reading, I usually see it as a sign of a blessing wanting to come through, or a sign of a blessing happening. But the fact that I didn't finish the sneeze, it makes me feel like maybe for some of you there might be a message around making sure you're not blocking your blessings. Yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Thank you so much for being here. So, and that may have nothing to do with this reading. It may just be a side note that Spirit wanted to get through. So you chose the Bumblebee Jasper and this Justice tarot card. This is going to be your reading. Well, this is going to be the information that will help you know whether this is your reading or not. Can't decide where to put my water. Okay. So in terms of who this person is, we have the Justice card, and we also have Wolf. Now I'm hearing Duran Duran in my head. Maybe this person really loves food, very passionate about food. Or maybe it's not food they're hungry for. You know what I mean? Okay, and then what is the energy of your connection with them at this time? For that, we have the 5 of Cups and forgiveness. Okay, so in terms of what your status is with this person, this is a reading where I would say you don't necessarily, this doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship, which I guess like even in other readings too, if you get messages that resonate for you and you're not asking about a romantic relationship, I mean, you can take them. But I would say like for everyone here, bear with me, because I think that there are a lot of different situations that y'all could be in with this person. For some of you, you could be married to this person. For others, in a relationship. For others, this could be a friend, a family member, a colleague, or this could be someone that you are seeing. I don't think this is a brand new person, because clearly enough time has passed that you have had some sort of experiences together that require forgiveness. So let's start with who this person is. So who this person is, they are definitely someone who is very pragmatic, responsible, protective, and they take their duties, like myself, I say the word duty and I go duty. This person, like, I literally didn't even feel the impulse to do that. I just knew I was going to do it anyway because I know what I'm about. But like they're pretty like, they can appreciate silly humor, but they're not necessarily ones to make it themselves. They do have a sense of humor, but I think it's more intellectual, or more maybe they have a very specific sense of humor. There's just only certain things they find funny. But that being said, I do think they really, really, really care about doing right by others, doing right by their loved ones. I also think that they can be very, it's not that they don't experience emotions, but because they do experience emotions, but it is that they are pretty decent at compartmentalizing their emotions so that they can be focused on what's important to them, which, like, pragmatism is one of the number one things, and upholding obligations and agreements is the second one. They really care about those things. So they're really good at compartmentalizing their emotions when they need to be on for whatever reason. But at the same time, I do feel like as well, even in close, intimate relationships, they're not always one to share their feelings outwardly. Like, you know, some people are naturally expressive with their emotions, whereas others are more, they feel and they process their emotions, but they express them differently, or maybe they don't feel comfortable expressing them at all. Maybe they express them in isolation, or maybe they express them in different ways. And I think for this person, I don't think they have a healthy way to express their emotions. I think their way to deal with emotion is to kind of just stuff it down and continue moving forward. I also think that when it comes to a lot of emotion, they kind of have this tendency to view it as something to fix, not that it might just be something to be felt. And I can also see as well that they are very, I know I've said, we know they're pragmatic, but they're also, they are a little stubborn, but I think their stubbornness is not like around all aspects of life. In a lot of ways, I think they're actually really chill. I think their stubbornness comes into effect when it comes to things that they are for sure that they think they're right about. And I think sometimes this person can get stuck into a pattern of, they've found the systems that work for them, at least at this stage in their life. And I think that they can't quite understand why people can't do the same thing as them. Like, sometimes they have a bit of tunnel vision and they think their way is the right way, the best way. And it can create some tension with people, because I think they do have a hard time understanding why others might make the decisions that they do. Especially when they're decisions made from emotion, or decisions made from impulse, or things like that. And I think that there is a part of them that is like, I don't get that. Like, they try to balance their head and their heart. There are decisions that they do make with their heart, but they don't exclude their head from the equation. And I do think as well, they never intend to cause harm. Like, that's never their intention. So if they do, like, they want to know so that they can fix it and make it right, which makes sense that forgiveness is here. I do think they try to be a generally balanced person. Like, this is someone that I would trust to pick me up and take me to the airport if I needed it. I think if anything, they would probably scold me, because they were like, I've been sitting in your driveway for 10 minutes. Now we're 10 minutes behind, and I told you to be ready at this time because that is the optimal time for you to get at the airport. And I already timed how long it would take for you to get through security to your gate. Like, they go in and study, okay, what's the traffic in this specific airport? Like, they are, in terms of the earthly realm, like, honestly, who is this so I can hire them to help me figure out my earthly woes? Because, like, the organization, the discipline, the commitment to their ability to just remain loyal to their commitments, I think, is something very powerful. And they have a lot of earth and air energy. So we have heavy Libra energy with Justice. And we also have Aquarius and Gemini energies in the air signs, and in the earth signs, we have Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. So they could have any of those placements. They don't have to. What I do know, though, is that they are definitely someone who's very family oriented, and they put a lot of importance on acting by example, leading by example, and also protecting and guiding the people in their life so that they can be as successful as possible. This is someone who's pretty no nonsense. Like, they don't suffer fools easily. They really, like, if you need like someone to, this is a person that's great when you have a problem that needs to fix. But when you have a problem that just needs to be felt, I think sometimes maybe it's harder to share those things with them, because I think they're still learning how to deal with that, because for them, they are a natural go-getter. They're a natural, like, if there's a problem, I'm gonna fix it, and if I can't fix it, then I'm not gonna focus on it. Like, there's kind of it's not bleak, it's just there's a hardness to them. Not that they are like cold to others or anything like that, but rather it's just, I guess the only way I can describe it is like, anyone who's lived in conditions where they've just had to do things, where they've had to survive or had to get things done, or like, for example, like this person, I would totally believe can survive in the wilderness. Like, they know how to ration their food, they know how to find water, they know how to navigate based on the stars. Like, this is somebody who is very incredibly self-sufficient. And I think too, so much so that they might even forget that they don't have to do it alone. And in fact, that in the pursuit of just trying to be so self-sufficient, that they might push others away. And I do think as well, there's a deep sense of loyalty to the people in their life. I also think that they can be very passionate about certain causes. They definitely care about what's fair. They want to be fair to others. And when something isn't fair, I feel like they don't like that. And if it's them that does something that's not fair, trust that that'll be the last time that ever happens, because they learn lessons quickly. And if they make a mistake, they're the first ones to say that they're sorry. And when it comes to, and the only reason they wouldn't is if they didn't think they were wrong. Like, if they're not going to apologize for something that they know, quote, and I'm going to use finger quotations for that, no is right, because it's like, why would I apologize for something that is the truth? But the thing is sometimes what they think is the truth isn't actually true. And so it might take them some time to kind of realize, like, oh, wait. It honestly really makes me think of my relationship with my older sibling. He was pretty tough on me when I was younger, because he was a very tough person and I was a very sensitive kid. And for a long time, I mean, we just butted heads so much, because he couldn't get my perspective. He just could not get it at all. There was his perspective, and that is the only perspective. Why? And it makes sense to him. And it took, a lot of time, growing into adults and growing and evolving. And it actually, the thing that actually not broke his brain, but blew his mind and opened him up to a lot of oh wow, I'm a caveman. That's what he said. I used a pendulum and it blew his mind. I didn't even use tarot or anything. I used a pendulum and blew his mind. He was like, oh, and he started to get it. And not that he wasn't spiritual or anything like that, but it's just just in terms of how we think and see the world, it just blew his mind in a way where he was like, I can't even believe that's possible. And then, we had just a really wonderful talk, And I wonder if that's maybe something you have with this person is maybe you guys can, even if you don't see the world the same way, you guys can have like really good conversations and just share and go into that. That's definitely one thing I'm really grateful for with my brother, is that even if we don't always agree, we can talk about it and respect each other's perspectives. But with that being said, it took him, you know, close to 30 years for him to learn, oh, my sister is the way that she, like, there's nothing wrong with the way my sister is. Like, the way my sister is allows her to do this stuff. Like, man, I probably shouldn't have tried to force the sensitivity out of her like that. And it was really healing, because, you know, he was sorry and he felt bad, and he's like, I've been a caveman. And it was really like powerful. And whoever this person is, they remind me of similar qualities that my brother has, where it's like they're never intending to cause harm, but if they can't see how they're doing it, it's hard for them to understand that they're doing it to begin with. And so I feel like when it comes to the energy of your connection, I think that there is a lot of sadness for whatever has occurred between the two of you. But at the same time, there's forgiveness here. And so it seems like you guys are in a place where you are healing from a sad and painful experience that you had together. You know, maybe they dropped the, well, this person didn't drop the ball. I can't, yeah, they didn't, I don't think that, okay, if they dropped the ball, they would be very sorry. I can't see this person dropping the ball, but I can see this person maybe invalidating you, or maybe there just being something happening that where there's like lingering emotional pain that doesn't get addressed, and it becomes something worse as a result. I do feel like there's just, the interesting thing is like typically in the Five of Cups, there's 3 spilled cups and 2 cups upright. And it's kind of as a way to say, you know, in the traditional Five of Cups, there's a figure in a long dark cloak, and he's looking down at the spilled cups and not seeing the 2 cups behind him. And the 2 cups behind him are meant to represent that not only is there still hope, but there's still connection. You can lean on others. Not all of your cups have spilled. Things will get better. And after the Five of Cups comes the Six of Cups, which is oftentimes things like reunion, connection, a return. It's very sweet energy. It can also be nostalgia and things like that, but that's not relevant to what I'm talking about. There's actually a lot of things it can contribute to. But with that being said, I almost wonder if the reason why whatever happened between the two of you happened that created this issue happened because maybe you guys ignored a problem for too long, or maybe I would say it would be likely this person didn't realize that they weren't connecting with you emotionally. Like maybe they just got too into their routines and too into what they had to do, that they weren't prioritizing like the emotional connection. What I do know is that I think there is a little bit of sadness here, just over what has gone down, but at the same time, I do feel like you guys are forgiving of one another. And I think now it's a matter of, okay, ghosts out of the bottle, let's work through this. Let's heal this and let's improve this. Like, because I definitely think that with this person, they certainly don't want to do you dirty or hurt you in any way. And I think considering that they are somebody who doesn't necessarily express their emotions openly, I think you might be surprised at what they shared with you. I feel like whatever happened, like after whatever occurred that created a conflict or something, you know, that was sad or hurtful, I feel like they kind of opened up to you emotionally in a way of like, that made you realize, oh wow, they weren't just ignoring or neglecting my feelings. They didn't realize that this was happening. They didn't think that this was happening. And I do think that this person definitely, even if you guys have resolved things, there's still a lot of like sadness and guilt and shame on their end, because like they feel like that's why that drop the ball is there. Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So they did drop the ball in the sense that you know, they're juggling so much, and the ball they care about the most, or one of the, I'm sorry, my brain is so dirty. A person they really cared about, they dropped the ball on making sure that they were being fair to them, and that's a problem. Now, that being said, maybe for some of you, you're still in the I'm sad over what happened phase, and you guys haven't gotten to the forgiveness phase yet. If that is the case, that's totally okay, because I think there is a mutual desire for forgiveness here. And I think that's something where you guys might be kind of sad that hasn't happened yet, just sad over what has occurred. And there might even be a little bit of like, well, I don't want to be the one to introduce things, especially if this person was the one that hurt you to begin with. I could see why you might be like, well, I don't want to be the one to, instigate that. It doesn't feel honoring of myself. And I would say, slay. I do what honors you. That's a very healthy and wonderful thing to do. So let's go ahead and get into their feelings now and see what comes through. So I'm gonna move these down here and just make sure, gosh, my chair is so loud. I just heard the words Big Booty Judy in my head, and I don't even know what that's about, if I'm being completely honest. Certainly ain't about me. I think my cake's probably like a cupcake, but then again, I have been building some muscle though, so. Yeah, I'm sure you were very curious about the state of the size of my derriere. Okay, well, let's shuffle these cards. While I'm shuffling, quick reminder, my class, and if you don't know, I do have a class that is coming out very soon. The link to sign up is down below. All the information is there. But signups end October 1st, so be sure to get on that. If not, just grateful you're here. And if you want to support me in any way, letting the ads play for the first 30 seconds at least, and liking the video are two of the most helpful things you can do. Oh, and subscribing, that's very helpful, and commenting as well. But liking and letting the ads play, I would say, are the top two, but also subscribe. Like, please subscribe. You don't have to watch every video when it comes out. If it's not for you, it'll always be there when you're ready. So, this justice person, the person group number 3, is asking about how are they currently feeling about my group 3s. We have the Page of Pentacles. How else are they feeling? Yeah, they never want to hurt you. They feel so bad. What else? We have Temperance. And let's get one more. How else are they feeling about my group 3s? We have the 7 of Pentacles. And on the back of the deck, we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, I'm just going to clarify these quickly with some channeled messages. Okay. And maybe for some of you, you are broken up, and this is more of a, like, you guys are making the decision not to get back together, but like you forgive one another and are sad of what's happened, but accepting that. But I feel like for a lot of you, you're probably still with this person, or are considering being with this person. Okay, can we clarify this Page of Pentacles, please? How is this person feeling about group 3? We have daydreaming about you on the daily. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. Fergalicious started playing in my head. So Fergalicious could be a significant song. I had to like go through the lyrics for a second to make sure it wasn't London Bridge, because I was like, wait, is this London Bridge or Fergalicious? Okay. So clarifying the 3 of Swords is I am still recovering and you are changing me. And clarifying Temperance, we have a card once it comes out. We have growing apart. And what about the Seven of Pentacles, please? We have soul searching, and on the bottom of the deck we have your support in harsh times. So I definitely feel like this person, you've been a powerful source of awakening for this person. I think that you were able to communicate and get through to them in ways that others haven't. And the reasons why that may be, I think, are unique and different based on your circumstances. But if you know what that is, feel free to share it. I'd be interested to know. But starting with the Page of Pentacles being here, I do think that they're feeling like they have a lot to learn, and they have a lot to grow. They have a lot in terms of growing and self-improvement. And you might be like, I really just want them to, you know, validate my emotions and acknowledge certain things. And it's like, yeah, that's part of it, but they don't half-ass anything. Like, they are somebody who, once they realize that there's something that they need to be better at or more attentive at, they're going to put the work in. Like, for example, if you have like ADHD or something, like this is actually a perfect example. Like, maybe it, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but like, just as an example, let's say you are neurodivergent. And let's say this person is neurotypical, which I don't know if I necessarily believe in neurotypical being a thing, but for the sake of this argument, that they're not just going to be like, oh, I can't expect. Well, you know, like, one aspect of ADHD is rejection sensitive dysphoria. It means that ADHDers can be much more sensitive to criticism and rejection than maybe other people would. And so, like, for example, you know, the half-ass kind of thing would be like, oh, well, you know, group 3 is intense emotion. It's just their ADHD. It's okay. No, they're going to want to know everything about ADHD. They're going to want to know, you know, what is the part that creates this intense emotion? Oh, okay. Is it this rejection? Like, they're going to know things like rejection sensitive, like, they're going to know everything. They want to know everything. And I'm not saying like that's the case for you, but they want to know everything about you so that they know how to be, like, treat you the best. And I think more than anything as well, like, depending on how long you've known them, especially if you've known them for a longer time, I think that there could be just a lot of shame in realizing like there were a lot of things that they missed in terms of just how they could have been treating you the way that they feel about you, which is that they really care about you. They love you. And maybe for some of you, it's not love yet, like if you guys haven't been together or anything like that, but at the very least, they do adore you. They do really care about you, and they do have genuine intentions towards you. What I do think, though, is that with this 3 of Swords, I think that the realization that they had caused harm, or that there had been some sort of circumstances where they weren't, I keep hearing the word crushing it, like where they weren't just being the best in general. I'm really sad about it. And the thing is, though, is that with the 3 of Swords being here, the fact that it's swords, air, thought, communication, that really goes to show that part of why they're still in a place of sadness around this is because their mind refuses to forgive themselves for, And I just got that sensation that I need to sneeze again, and then it left. So this is an example of blessings being blocked. They, even if you've forgiven them, they haven't forgiven themselves yet. And I think that they are self-flagellating a lot and like almost creating a prolonged sense of emotional pain because their brain refuses to stop punishing themselves for, and they're calling it failing you. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But what I do know is that they still feel horrible about it, and they're still recovering. And also, one way that you are changing them is you're making them more emotionally in tune with their own feelings and starting to understand a lot of emotion that's been pent up in them, or emotion that they didn't even realize was there. Like, I feel like this person is just so good at neglecting themselves in favor of being there for others, in favor of mastering their goals and achieving their pursuits. Like, I do see that for some of you, this person is quite ambitious. I feel like they are starting to realize that like their priorities and the way that they operate are not the same as everyone else, which like they know that intellectually, but like on a deep subconscious level, they still don't really get it. Because in their mind, they're like, well, I can do it. Why can't you? And I think we all have that to a degree. Like, you know, for me, that would be tarot. Like, I really took to it quite quickly. And so a lot of times I'll get certain questions and I don't know how to answer them because I'm like, I just did it. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess like, and I don't feel like just do it is good advice. So I have to like go back and think like, wait, okay, how would this make sense for someone who doesn't know how to just do it? It's a bit of a process. And I think that their mind has been opened a lot. And I think there's just a part of them that's very sad to know that in their own ignorance, they may have, you know, caused harm or pain that they didn't want to. And I think that you are changing them in ways that make them softer and more compassionate. But I also think if you felt like this person has maybe still been a bit distant, and maybe you've been worried like, oh, are they still mad at me or anything like that? Like, no, they're not mad or upset at you. They're upset at themselves, like, period. With the Temperance card being here and growing apart, though, I think that they're feeling like there might be this recognition of we need to do a better job of just prioritizing connection, or, well, I think it's maybe more so they're saying, I need to do a better job. You know, if both of you were part of the dynamic, then we, but for some of you, maybe part of this pain just came from being disconnected for a while, feeling out of sync with one another, feeling like you were just kind of going through the motions rather than really relating to each other, connecting to each other, quite literally growing apart. I think that they're realizing like they don't want that to happen. And they also know that if they are complacent, or that if they don't start to change, that is what's going to happen. So I definitely think that they're making changes. And I also think that they feel very protective of you and of the connection itself. And so part of the reason why they might be a little bit like hesitant, or I wouldn't say standoffish, but at the very least like not going really hard in terms of just like where they just might be a little bit reserved right now, is because they're still like it's painful to be around you right now, in the sense that like they just remind themselves of how they hurt you and they didn't want to, and they feel bad. It's more of a self-flagellating thing than seeing you makes me sad. It's like seeing you makes me happy to see you, and then I get sad to think that I did something wrong to hurt you. Like, I never want to do that. And that, yeah, and it's really sweet actually. But I definitely think that they are growing and learning. And I think one of the things that they're realizing as well is maybe I don't have to be the way that I am all the time. Like, I think that there's a part of them that's realizing maybe it might feel good to take on some qualities that I've thought I needed to abandon in order to show up for others. Because I think what they're realizing in abandoning those things, I think they weren't able to show up for you, or they weren't able to be the person that you needed. And so I think that they're trying to be very patient with themselves and understanding that like this reconciliation process is probably going to be something that takes time. And I think as well, they're very focused on making sure that they do at the very least just continue to keep moving forward, because they don't want you guys to grow apart. And they also, I feel like they just want to be closer to you in general. And I think part of them knows that in order to do that, they've got to get their they've got to move through some of the emotion enough so that they're not like holding back from you, because I do think they are partially holding back from a place of shame and guilt. And it really doesn't matter how many times you forgive them or say it's okay. It's not going to be okay until they forgive themselves. So I feel like they're trying to get there, and I think they slowly but surely they are getting there. And with the Seven of Pentacles being here, I feel like there's something about whatever happened that made them realize that they weren't living their life to the fullest. There are things that are missing, and there are things that are I guess they're just realizing that, you know, maybe there are a lot of things that they've left on the back burner of life because they were personal pursuits or things that, you know, felt good to them or meant a lot to them, but, you know, didn't make sense in a pragmatic way. So they, you know, just kind of push them off to the side. And I think they're realizing, but those things feel really good, and they don't necessarily take me away from what I already prioritize. In fact, they just add to my life. So maybe I should shift things a little bit. If there is something that occurred where you guys have decided to go your separate ways, even for a time, I do think that they are feeling like you guys have a beautiful, solid foundation, and you guys have invested a lot in this. And I feel like they feel safe enough. If you need to do some sort of soul searching, or if you need to go your own way, I do feel like they feel confident in knowing that you guys do have something special. Like there's a lot that has been invested, and I feel like whatever you needed in order to feel better, they would totally give you that space. Like they feel, I think if anything, they feel bad that they haven't just been tending to the connection the way that they wanted to. I do think that there is a part of them that is kind of recognizing that they live life on, it's almost like a black and white television show where they you know, they almost don't allow themselves to have, you know, color in their life and like, you know, fun, exciting things, because that part of their mind that's like, well, how does this lead me closer to my goal? How does it like get me to where I want to be? Like, I feel like they're realizing, oh, the grind is kind of soul sucking, and actually denying my own humanity in the pursuit of being what everyone else needs is actually deeply unhealthy, and it not only harms my relationships, but it harms me too. So I think that they are in the process of figuring that out, and also being like, okay, well, it's not like I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind and change completely, but how do I get that part of me back, that part of me that's more emotionally rich, and the part of me that, you know, feels fun and jovial, and gives myself permission to have fun. Because I feel like this person has kind of forgotten that their own personal things still matter. And I think that for them, they're really thinking about how they can be a better support system for you. For a select few of you, this situation could be feelings around, like, if you guys have decided, like, you don't, like, a relationship between the two of you is not going to work, but if you have children, like, maybe you're going to co-parent or something. I feel like they are really focused on how they can be the best, like, that best version of themselves as possible. But I feel like for the vast majority of you, this is something where, like, neither of you really want to be apart from one another, but there is, like, healing and things that need to happen. And I think a lot of what needs to happen is on this person's end, where they are able to forgive themselves so that they can start the process of connecting once again from a place of openness and joy and heart-centeredness, rather than shame or guilt. Because I think that's what's kind of like, that's the biggest thing that's kind of holding them back a little bit. I feel like even if you've forgiven them, I feel like they don't deserve your forgiveness. And that's something that they have to look at within themselves. And I think they're also just feeling very determined to make things right if they haven't already, and to make long-lasting and solid changes that allow them to be a more well-rounded and balanced human being, and that also allow them to be in the world not as a savior for others, but rather as a whole human being that has their own desires and intentions. And yes, they're responsible and they have their goals, but also they give themselves freedom to enjoy the connections they care about. And I think that you've been a huge source of inspiration for them around that, and realizing, like, the way I'm living is not sustainable, and the way I'm living actually caused harm to a person I really care about. And so things got to change. Things have got to change. Also, if bartending is something that got in the way of this connection, I do feel like they're recognizing that bartending could be part of why you guys are growing apart. And the interesting thing is I don't feel like it's because this person is partaking in things. I think it's because like schedules or something like that. I mean, they could be partaking, but not to a place of it being genuinely problematic. Maybe for some of you it is, but, and if that's the case, I think they realize they've got to get a handle on that. But I just can't imagine someone who's like in the throes and really struggling with addiction being as on it as this person is. So if they are struggling with an addiction of any kind, they're a very high functioning addict. And even then they're recognizing, like, even if they are high functioning and dealing with something like that, like, you are more important than an addiction. I'm just gonna be straight up, like, and they know that they've got to make changes. And I think honestly they probably didn't even realize they did have an addiction, because in their mind, like, they felt like they were in control. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, I could stop anytime I want. Okay, then stop now. Well, I don't feel like it, you know? But something like this, yeah, that would get them to stop. And I do feel like they feel passionate about making things right. And I think they also feel passionate about being a better support system for you and supporting you the way that you need, not the way that they think you need to be supported, if that makes sense. So I definitely feel like they just want to get better and be better for you. And I think that the biggest hurdle to that right now is just them truly forgiving themselves. And so I think that they're just in the process of getting there and in the process of still making those changes, because I think they're truly not going to feel better until they've shown you that they are truly making these changes. Like, you know, when they're truly stepping up in ways that they know are meaningful to you, like, that's when they're really going to start to accept their they're using the word failure again, failure, I guess. But I do think that this person, they may have some Virgo energy in them. Honestly, Virgo, Cap, Libra energies here very, very strongly. Like, they just have a very strong sense of, like, I need to do what's right. Like, I hold myself to standards that, you know, maybe others wouldn't hold themselves to, but that doesn't matter. That's other people. I hold myself to this. Also, they could be named, like, Justin or Justice, or they could have Wolf in their name. Like, maybe they're Justin Wolf. I guarantee you somebody out there just lost their shit right now because they were asking about someone with that name. Ugh, and that person better comment. I don't care if you don't have an account. You better make one, because, like, that stuff is so fun. Share it now, please. I'm not gonna force you. Okay, with that being said, though, we are just gonna go ahead now and finish off with some guidance for you when it comes to this person in your situation. So to start, we have honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. So yeah, I feel like it's really important. Don't hold back how things feel for you because you know that they might feel guilty for knowing that they made you feel that way. If you are a very emotionally sensitive person, it might be very painful to tell them how something feels, because you feel pain knowing that they feel pain because they caused you pain. And so it's like, well, what's the point? Because I'm just getting hurt no matter what. But that hurt can't be resolved unless it's acknowledged. And I think that you've already been doing that. Like, you know, I feel like unless you guys haven't, you know, opened up to one another and you've kind of been avoiding certain things, but I feel like the more you can tell this person what you need and how you need it, that is going to be what's best for them. They are like the antithesis of a mind reader. They're like, why would I read other people's minds? My mind has everything I need. Like, okay, self-sufficiency. They need to know how their behavior impacts you. Like, because if they are doing something that causes harm to you, they want to stop doing it, period. And if they don't know for a long time that, like, something is hurting you, like, they're gonna ruminate over the fact that they did something that was painful to you for a while. So, the sooner you can be upfront with them about things, like if you need things differently, like you have nothing to lose by being vulnerable with this person, because this person needs things explained from your perspective and needs to understand that how you operate, so that they can make sure that they are showing you what they're trying to give you And I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know how like the way that we show love and the way that we feel love, or the way our preferred ways to receive love might be different. So like, you know, maybe they're an acts of service person, and so they do things for you, and maybe that makes you feel guilty because you're like, I feel lazy, and now I feel like you got everything done, and now I feel guilty. And at the same time, maybe you need words of affirmation, and they're like, well, I don't need to do that. They know how I feel about them. So like things like that, I feel like, you know, them knowing how to love you, the more notes they have, the more you will see them show up in ways that are very emotionally fulfilling, because they are what makes you feel loved, what makes you feel good. So don't be afraid to tell them that, you know, like even tiny details like, oh, I love the color blue. Like all of that is going to play into how they show love and show that you care. And if they don't know how to, they're going to do what in their mind is how they show love. Does that make sense? Okay. We also have be willing to express love. So yeah. Same stuff. And also I would say if you know how to make them feel loved, I would say, so you know how I do XYZ and you know it's really meaningful for you? Like I would just say like, I would love it if like my equivalent of that isn't actually this. It's you sending me, it's being written a love letter, it's you sending me a text, or it's you checking in with me. Like also showing them that you care, I think is really important. And I don't think that you don't do that, but sometimes you might hold back waiting for them to share more. And I think that you could actually get a whole lot more out of that situation actually if you just introduced it first, because then they know that it's safe to share. But also you don't have to if you don't want to. We also have let go. Not every puzzle is yours to solve. So that's the thing, like if this person, I think this mainly has to do like, well, I think like, first of all, you know, if you and this person are choosing to go your separate ways, like I think that you guys are, I feel like the universe is asking you to like let go, not feel like this situation was your fault, or that you know, you have to figure it out, or that you have to come to some sort of conclusion. But I do think that, you know, the one thing that might be hard is it might be hard for you to let go of the fact that they're not forgiving themselves. And I think that that might also be something that makes you hesitant to share about things that hurt you in the future. Just share in general in case like it sparks something that in them. But that the thing is that you're not responsible for their emotions, and you're not responsible in helping them figure out how to forgive themselves. And considering this person's self-sufficiency, it would actually cause them to spiral even more deeply into shame if you figured out how to do that and they didn't. So definitely don't do it for them, because it's gonna make the whole thing worse. Like it's so much worse. They gotta figure it out on their own. So I would definitely say, like, you know, when you feel the discomfort of knowing that in sharing your pain, you've caused someone else pain and discomfort, accept it. And don't tune into it. And when you feel it, let go of it and say, this isn't mine. I don't have to carry it. Because like, you're not meant to. And I do think as well, like, yeah, just give you, like, remind yourself it's not your responsibility to fix those things. And also you can't. And actually, even if you did, it would make things worse. So, let go of that. Okay, finally, we have hope. The trigger statement is, I will not forget, and the true statement is, I open my heart. Release the suffering and take another step towards forward, sweet one. With each step, you will see more light and healing. So yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of hope in this situation. I do feel like this person is going to step up and change, and I do feel like here, especially like this trigger statement and true statement, I will not forget, I open my heart. Like, I think that that is really what is going to help this person forgive themselves. And maybe you modeling that in your own way could inspire them. Like, and I wouldn't do it in a way where you're like telling them what you're doing. I would just have it, if it's authentic and it's true for you, coming from a place of openness. It could be like the leading by example they need to see that they can do that too. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of hope here. And if you keep moving forward, like, I think you'll just kind of see that things will continue to work themselves out, and they'll work themselves out a lot more gently, a lot more smoothly when you are standing in your truth, sharing it honestly and openly, and also setting personal boundaries to ensure you're not taking responsibility for what isn't yours, and trusting in their ability to solve their own problems, and just being that support system for them. If you want to be, if you don't want to be, don't have to be anything you don't want to. Instead of, you know, fixing a problem, being the person encouraging them, saying, I know you can figure this out and I'm here to help if you need anything, kind of sort of thing. And yeah, there's definitely hope here. Okay, so with that being said, that is all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, at least for the first 30 seconds, because that is the simplest and easiest way to show support and appreciation for my channel. But if you'd like to do that in other ways, sign up for my class. Sign-ups close October 1st. I really cannot wait to see you guys there. I think it's going to be so much fun. And yeah, you can like the video. Comment down below, let me know how it resonates. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, social media, all that jazzy jazz. You can check out other readings, ones with extended. You can check out candles, merch, all that jizzy jazz. You can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag, and my PayPal is my email. Thank you to everyone who does. I'm very grateful. And yeah, I think that's all that I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope that this reading resonated and brought you some clarity. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Snowflake Obsidian Heart and this Hanged Man, or should we say Hanged Bat card, this is going to be your reading on how the person you're asking about is currently feeling about you. So if this first part doesn't resonate, this is not your reading. I would try a different group. If this first part sounds like you, it could be you. But if it sounds like you and the person you're asking about, that is a sign that you guys are mirroring with one another. If it's only you, if you don't want to hear about yourself, pick a different group and see if you can find your person. It's okay if you don't intuitively pick the group with the messages for you the first time around. That's totally fine. You're not getting anything wrong. You're just attuning to what's true for you. So in terms of who, and full breakdown of the reading in the intro. In terms of who this person is that I'm going to be channeling, we have the Hanged Man. And we actually got 2 of these cards, and they came out in a very specific way. So the fox, we have the fox and we have the turtle, but the fox came out like this, like it was like that. Like the fox was hidden underneath the turtle. Oh my gosh. Wow. Memory unlocked. That What Does the Fox Say song? Like, oh my gosh. I hated that song. I was not a fan. But yeah, I lived in blissful ignorance of that song existing once more until just now. Interesting, maybe it's significant in some way. Okay, and then in terms of the energy of the connection between the two of you, we have the 5 of Wands and maturity. Okay. Bear with me because there's a couple of different interpretations here, and honestly, I don't think I'm going to get to the root of it until we look at their feelings. I actually want to start with the energy of the relationship first. It seems like there's a couple different scenarios here. If you're with this person, I do think, like, if you guys are in a committed relationship or seeing each other, have something established here, I do feel like there is an issue of conflict right now. Maybe tensions are running high, and maybe there's like some unresolved emotion going on where maybe things start out playful and then they escalate into something serious. Maybe there is tension or resistance or frustration right now and where things are happening. And you might kind of feel like you're teetering between the part of you that wants to be, and I would say this is both of you, teetering between the part of you that wants to surrender to whatever your base instincts do in conflict versus doing what you know is aligned with your heart, even if you're not necessarily feeling those feelings in the moment, and what is aligned with your authenticity, with your integrity. You might be like teetering back and forth. And it's not to say that like in the past when you acted that way, you weren't acting with integrity. I feel like the difference was you didn't know that the way that you were acting, and vice versa them, wasn't in alignment with, like, it's like you didn't know that you had access to this way of behaving and like this way of doing things differently. It's like, it's just a process of maturation. Like, you know, solutions and how to act when you're 17 versus solutions and how to act when you're 35. I mean, your perspective is totally different. You have a lot more, you're more mature, you've lived more life, so you understand like more about cycles and just all the things that happen, and you can grow and change. And but truth be told, I mean, age doesn't really matter. Like, in certain like age matters in terms of certain human activities, and I mean, like, first of all, if you're under the age of 18, you should not be here. You can come back when you're 18, but even then 18 is still kind of young. If you are younger than that, though, if you're gonna watch readings, you should be watching ones about like personal growth and things like that. You do not watch love readings until you get a bit older, because if you do, you're gonna look back and be like, I can't believe I watched love readings on the dude in my trig class. That's so funny. Like, you know what I mean? That being said, if you are not with this person, I would say the energy of the connection is one where you might be feeling very frustrated, or there might be a lot of tension or challenge or things at a standstill. The reason why I say you is because it's clear from how they're showing up. It's not, well, maybe I could be wrong, so never mind, forget what I said, but it seems like maybe one of you could be trying to prove to the other that you're worthy of being committed to, or trying to push for commitment. And the reason why I go further with that is because with this Hanged Man here, one of the things that it can indicate in terms of like romantic partners is someone who is hesitant to commit, someone who is hesitant to move forward. But that is going to be like, obviously if you're already with them, I don't think their problem is commitment. At that point, I think the problem here has more to do with maybe unresolved emotional things that need to be addressed, or, you know, just certain dynamics that need an assessment. But with this Hanged Man card being here, it definitely seems like whoever you're asking about, you are at a standstill with them, and it does seem like they're not interacting with you much, or they could even be kind of going silent, or just being very slow to respond. And the interesting thing here is the type, like who you're asking about, like because this is a general reading, there are different, I'm looking at it like Pokemon, like there are different evolutions of this person. And, you know, like some of you are asking about someone who is like a Charizard, and others of you are asking about someone who's like a Charmander. And you don't need to know what those Pokemon are beyond the fact that Charizard is the most evolved and Charmander is like the baby version of, it's what it starts as. So, I do feel like this person has the tendency to shut down when they're overwhelmed. And I also think this person has the tendency to get so swept up in their own, like, energies, or just like they can be so in their own zone, in their own space, that they can like almost kind of forget about the outside world. But also I do think that this person is a bit guarded and is a bit like they're definitely not somebody to try to force or make things happen. I do feel like they are kind of a surrender and let the universe do its thing. But with this fox being here, I do feel like for a lot of you, you see this person as an ideal partner, or if you're already with them, I feel like they are an ideal partner. There's just things that you guys are trying to learn and grow from. For others though, I feel like you see this person as having a lot of potential to be a really great partner, someone you see like a long-term future with. And I would actually even say as well, this person isolates when they're not doing well. Like they actually do very well in connection with another, but I think that they also, depending on their maturity level, they may not be able or ready to have that type of commitment with someone yet. And maybe for others, if you're already in a commitment, I would say that there's no issue with commitment, but there might be issues around how y'all deal with conflict, or how y'all deal with like uncomfortable emotions or things like that, and how you resolve it. And also how you cope. I do feel like this person kind of screams having like an avoidant attachment style. Like I do think like they could be the kind of person where if they know that someone's upset with them, or if they know that, or if there is some sort of conflict, they might be kind of conflict avoidant or conflict averse. Maybe that's part of the issue here. Maybe that's why there's tension. It's like maybe there are issues between the two of you and you guys need to address them, but like your person is kind of avoiding it. And I think maybe you might be feeling frustrated by that, or like in this sense, like however you're feeling, them avoiding it or them not addressing it or acknowledging it might cause you to act in ways where that like make things worse, in the sense that like that frustrates you, and the frustration gets strong enough that you can no longer stand in how you've been trying to be and how you've been trying to approach the situation, because now you're in your feels, now you're like, you are activated, and now you are just like reacting and responding from a place of base and like instinct. Does that make sense? And so I guess there's two clear groups here. Those of you that are already in a relationship with this person, or it's already kind of been established that like commitment is here, and you guys are dealing with challenge and conflict around just maturing together and making the decisions that support the relationship, learning to relate to one another in more healthy, aligned, mature ways, so that you don't repeat unnecessary conflicts, or just have things simmering under the surface that need to be addressed. And for those of you that are not with this person, I feel like this situation is one where you might be trying to get this person to commit, or you might be trying to move the situation forward. I feel like you see a lot of potential, a lot of value in them, and I feel like you guys really do connect, like especially on things like history. You definitely have a lot of mutual interests, and I think that you guys can really have wonderful conversations. But I also think though that this person is in general very slow to make strong, intense decisions, because they are someone who does tend to be in it for the long haul. I wouldn't say this person is commitment phobic because they are afraid that they won't be able to uphold those commitments. I would say they're afraid of being, they're commitment phobic because they know that when they do make a commitment, they're all in. And so if they commit to the wrong person, they know that they're in for a lot of suffering. And I think, yeah, and like part of that too is like they I don't think they've even recognized that, like, like you can, if you genuinely open your heart and have feelings for someone and they're mutually reciprocal and things don't work out, like, that's okay, right? Like, or if you do get in a situation and somebody's not loving you, not caring for you, doesn't, support you or just treat you well, like, you don't have to stick around in that. But I don't think that they've maybe recognized that yet. I think that maybe you guys have very different perspectives, and that's maybe partially why you could be butting heads. But I do think that whatever the case is, it seems like the person you're asking about is a bit like quiet right now, maybe a bit closed off, maybe a bit isolated. Like they could keep their phone on do not disturb. For me, that's like all the time. But you know, maybe it's like more specific. Maybe they never do that. I do feel like when they need to process things, they do like to go within and kind of be on their own so that they can just like go through and process everything. But I also think it takes them a while to kind of open up, and it also takes them a while to be sure of something, to be sure of what they want, to be sure of where they want to go. I do feel like they struggle with self-doubt a lot, and I also think as well, they just like, this may not be how they are all the time, but at least right now they're in a very heavy yin energy where they're just kind of wanting to go within and be with themselves and explore their own depths. And if you guys are in a relationship, I could totally see why that might be frustrating, because maybe they are not giving you the time and attention that you need, and so like you're fighting for it, and that might be creating conflict, and it just might be kind of frustrating. And maybe part of the maturation process for your person is realizing that you know, when you're in a relationship with someone, like, you know, it's not right to neglect your partner. I mean, of course you should have time on your own, but if it's so much that, you know, you're not even really supporting your partner or giving them what they need, you know, that can be a problem. But if you don't know, if you guys aren't in anything like that, I do feel like you could just be fighting to see things progress, fighting to see you guys interact on more mature terms, or have your person show the maturity that you know that they're capable of. I feel like you could see a lot of potential in them, and I don't think you're wrong in seeing that potential, but it's possible they don't see that potential in themselves, and it's also very possible that it could take quite some time for them to reach that potential. But you know, with the turtle, slow and steady wins the race. I think that they could get there. It just takes time. I definitely think they're a bit of a homebody, and they are a bit of like a keep to themselves type person. And so I do think maybe for some of you that commitment phobic nature could come from the sense of like, I don't know if I want someone around me all the time in my space, like, and it wouldn't matter if it were you or literally anyone else. It's more so just to like, maybe they just, you know, only feel safe or only feel like they can be themselves when they're by themselves. I do feel like though, no matter what the situation is, they are struggling a little bit right now. And I think the way that they deal with struggling is kind of avoidance and isolation. And I can see how that would create tension and conflict if you're in a relationship with them. And I can also see how that might create confusion or frustration, or even, you know, the desire to understand why that's happening. You know, it might lead to like a hot and cold situation, or a feeling of like mixed signals, or a feeling of like, but you also have to ask yourself too, you know, how they're like have they told you what they want out of life, or have they told you like, you know, what they are and aren't ready for. Like if this person has said to you like, I'm not ready for a relationship, or I don't want a relationship, and you are like continuing to push for a relationship, I could see like them maybe shutting down a little bit and being like, oh, I'm not being listened to, and they might be a little bit overwhelmed with that. But you know, if they have expressed interest in a relationship and have been treating you like they really are very serious about you, and then are all of a sudden going quiet, I could see why there's a lot of frustration and like, what the hell? So let's go ahead and just get into their feelings, because now I know I'm gonna have multiple interpretations to get into here. And I do think that like this person does have the issue with they don't recognize what they mean to others. I don't think they really realize that. This person can get really deep into their own emotional experiences. And also the Hanged Man is connected to Neptune, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And so I really do feel like this person can get really caught up in their own world to the point where they don't even realize they've lost touch with reality for a while. Like they could spend time deep in process working on something and then realize like 2 days have passed and they didn't even like eat or anything like that. Like that's how intense their focus can be. And so I do feel like there's partially like some of this behavior is by no means intentional, but it's also like if you are gonna be in a commitment, so like if you're in a commitment with them, like I do feel like they're realizing like I have to change, like I have to surrender to the reality that if I want to be in this commitment, like I have to change how I do things because my old ways won't work. But if you are not with them, you know, it's a bit of a different story, because I'm not sure kind of what both of your with the history here and how we got to now. So hopefully the feelings will clarify that for me. So we'll give these I won't say a good shuffle, a decent shuffle, because they're kind of hard to shuffle. They're very thick. Okay. But while I'm shuffling, just a quick reminder, signups for Cards and Stars, my very first class, is closing October 1st. So be sure to sign up for that before October 1st or on October 1st, because after that it's gone, and I don't think it will be coming back. Potentially other classes could be, but not for quite a while, and even then likely not the same topic. But the cool thing about, even if you're not ready to take a class, you do get lifetime access. So you know, if you need, like, if you want to come back to it in 3 years, all you, it'll still be there because you get it forever. Okay. So also, I do think that this person has the tendency to like stew in their own like emotions, especially negative emotions sometimes. Like I feel like they can just kind of be closed off and have a shell around them, because it's almost like they can't, like when they are stuck in a lot of in a lot of intensity or emotional experience, like they almost can't pull themselves out of it until it's less heavy. But with that being said, for group number 4, the person that they are asking about, how is this person currently feeling about group 4? Okay, we have the 6 of Wands. How is this person currently feeling about group number 4, please? We have the 7 of Wands. Okay, what else? How is this person? We have the Wheel of Fortune. And finally, we have the King of Pentacles. Okay, that makes sense. It's on the back of the deck. Back of the deck is the King of Swords. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's clarify these with some channeled message cards. And the way I take reversals in this deck are very I choose, because there's cards upright and reverse here, not because I've done that intentionally, just because I haven't gone through and like reset this deck. So if I decide or not decide, but feel, sense, you know, intuitively, I'm not just being like, nope, that's reversed because I said so. If I feel like something needs to stay reversed, I'll keep it reversed, but otherwise I will turn everything else upright. So can we clarify the 6 of Wands, please? What does, how is group 4's person currently feeling about them? So we have, I've been keeping an eye out for you. Yeah, I would say that stays upright. 7 of Wands, Spirit, how is this person currently feeling about group number 4, please? We have your support in harsh times. Okay, what about the Wheel of Fortune? Can we clarify that, please? We have, it's okay to have differences and a union that brings in abundance. I'm going to take that upright as well. And finally, can we clarify the King of Pentacles, please? We have You Are Changing Me. Wow, okay. So, this makes me really glad to see more. if there were any messages that I gave you in the beginning that really did not sound like your person and stressed you out and made you afraid, I'm gonna need you to send those fears into the stratosphere because they're not yours. But I would pay attention to what made you feel that way, because that is the root of what insecurities you need to address, in terms of just making your connection with this person a bit. Oh no, I just saw 6-7. I don't even get it. I'm too old. I don't even get 6-7. But I saw it and I'm like, oh God. I don't get 6-7. If someone can explain 6-7 to me, please do. But I mean, I don't think there's any real purpose to it. It's just like a meme. I don't know. Okay. So if you are in a relationship, if you guys are already in a relationship, I do feel like this person is feeling a bit defensive. However, they really are yearning for your support, but their ego is not wanting to lose quite yet. So I've been keeping an eye out for you. They've kind of been hoping that you'll be the one to come forward first, or you'll be the one to resolve things. And some of you might like be mad at me because you're like, I've literally tried and they're not being receptive right now. And it could be because they're too proud to admit that they've realized how they played a role in this dynamic, and they're kind of like not ready to admit it yet. Like, you know, maybe they're feeling a little bit proud, or maybe this is something that you've brought to their attention multiple times and they've always written it off and not seen it, and now they do see it and they're like, wait a second, what? Like there's a little That being said, I do feel like they are only holding back because of that feeling of defensive-ness, because I feel like there is a part of them that is realizing that whatever your position was in terms of this conflict or tension, like, you were right. If you guys haven't had any conflict or have been conflict averse, I do feel like that they could be kind of fighting off the desire to address the conflict, and also feeling like, okay, but if I don't acknowledge that there's issues, then we're still successful. It's like they're afraid that if that can of worms is opened up, then you guys won't be as successful as you've been. Like the relationship won't be as good, and like they won't be able to put the relationship on a pedestal anymore, which the relationship shouldn't be on a pedestal. It should be, you know, just something that is more natural. Like, it doesn't have to be something that stands up to an ideal, but I guess that's something that they need to hear, not you need to hear. I guess unless you do need to hear it. But also with the wheel here, I do feel like they are recognizing that, like, in relationships there are highs and lows, and that they do feel like there is some sort of like destiny, like fated aspect to your relationship. Like, you guys are together for a reason, and like there is something very unique about your relationship. Like there's really nothing like your relationship. Like, it's almost kind of an anomaly, because I mean, this hand has 6 fingers on it. Why, I don't know, but it's like I feel like there's just this recognition that you guys like this relationship has brought a lot of blessings to their life, and I feel like there's a deep fear in them losing it because of these conflicts are like this simmering underneath the surface. They're like, I don't want to deal with it, I don't want to address it, because what if that conflict leads to we shouldn't be together anymore, or leads to they don't want to be with me anymore, they being you, group 4. Because they see that being together with you brings in abundance, so much so you guys even get an extra finger. And on top of that, like, I feel like they're also realizing, like, they feel like, you know, you guys, like, your differences make each other stronger. But I also think what they're still not realizing yet is that while your differences do make each other stronger, there are also ways in which your differences create challenges and conflict. And so I think that now they might be having the experience of recognizing that there are these issues, even though they might be trying to avoid seeing it, because they're afraid of, like, you know, what if this all goes to shit, or, you know, what if we're too different, or what if this uncovers something that makes us realize that this isn't a long haul sort of thing. And mind you, everything that I've said so far is for those of you that are in a relationship with this person. Those of you that are in a situationship or something like that, we'll get there. But if you are in the situationship and anything that I have said so far really hits your truth radar, take it as yours. But I just wanted to be clear where, from my perspective, I'm where I am right now, because I would say that if you guys are already together, you guys have seen the effects of how being together brings the both of you more, brings the both of you closer together. And I would say as well, with the King of Pentacles here, and you are changing me, I feel like this person is really getting into a position where they want to be dependable. They want to be, I feel like they're softening in a way where they want to be stable and be in a place where they don't have to go within, to be in a place where they don't feel like they need to hide. And also I think that, you know, if this person was unsure about or never wanted to be like a spouse or something like that, I feel like they could be that with you, and they're very afraid of what if that dream is failing because of the energies we're like, and I would be willing to bet, like, you know, maybe you guys have never had conflict like this before, or maybe you guys have never been stuck in a conflict cycle like this before. And so I think that they're feeling like they want to be like, it's almost like they're going with him because they want to make sure that they have everything, like they want to make sure they act with the most maturity and be the best version of themselves possible, because they're trying to show to you that they are trying to be their best self for you, and not only trying but succeeding. Like, it's important to them that they succeed in being their best selves to you, and part of that requires them to be more consistent and have a stability that they don't have in their personal life quite yet, and a stability that they don't have in their internal world yet. And so I feel like they're working on that, but you've had a huge influence on that. And actually, I would say that there could be times where you've said certain things or been nurturing to them in certain ways that maybe kind of shocked you because they got like defensive or like kind of shut down, and you're like, wait, whoa, what? And I think that's because you probably evoked like some intense emotion within them that they weren't expecting, or like you might be bringing in realizations that they have where they're starting to see where they're playing life small and where they're not growing, and where they lack stability, or where they have lacked something that you're providing, and then that makes them realize something uncomfortable about themselves that they then have to go in and like look at and address and be like, wait, what? But in the moment, it might come out like they might be defensive, or they might be reactive to what you do in a way that does not make sense based on the action that you took towards them. And so I do think that in this time of like isolation for themselves, I do feel like they are kind of starting to realize like, oh, maybe these things aren't permanent forever aspects of my personality. Like, maybe things can change and maybe things can be different. Like, I feel like this person is just afraid. It's almost like they convince themselves that they are the way that they are and they can't change, because they could be very set in their ways. And partially why they're set in their ways is because they spend a lot of time on their own. And if you spend a lot of time on your own, you don't really have a lot of people to challenge the ways that you're doing things. I can say from experience. I do love my alone time, but in that alone time, I definitely don't have anyone to say, hey girly, you've been playing video games for 10 hours. It's only me realizing when I look at the clock and being like, oh my god, that's where the sun went. I didn't even realize it went down. Gotta love ADHD. And maybe the part of it too is just like neurodivergence or some sort of like, you know, trauma that needs to be healed, and maybe they're realizing that they can heal and they can grow, and you're a huge part of that. And I think that that is something where it's making them be like, I want to be in this for a long time, and I don't want to do anything that makes things worse or makes things a problem. I do feel like in general they want to overcome whatever arguments you guys have had and be more successful in getting rid of them. But I think at the same time they're like, but what if in addressing them we fail and things fall apart? I think that's what they really don't want to happen. Now, if you are asking about someone who you are not in a commitment with, who things are kind of confusing or up in the air, you're getting mixed signals or things like that, I do feel like they feel like there is something a bit uncanny about your connection, and that you are provoking a sense in them where they feel like you bring a faded quality about you, like there's something. And I honestly, you might want to look into your synastry with this person. There might be signs that indicate, like aspects that indicate that there is like a faded quality to this. And I do feel like you are changing what they thought they wanted for themselves. Like maybe they never thought they wanted to be in a long-term commitment or be that type of person. But also I think the reason why they thought that is because they thought they could never be that. And I think that in some ways, maybe you've started to inspire that a little bit, and it's deeply uncomfortable for them. It's like they're realizing they're changing in ways that they can't control. And I think part of them might be holding back from a place of like, maybe the changes are happening too quickly for them to be comfortable with. Not that you're making them change, but you are a catalyst to them recognizing things that do need to change. And it's even too, like, some of the changes that are happening are like, they happen instantaneously and they don't even think about it. Like the way that they show up and the way that they behave. Like, for example, you know, maybe this person is super anti-PDA, and yet they go to hold your hand without even realizing it, and then all of a sudden they look down and realize they're holding your hand and are like, wait, whoa, how did that happen? Like it's almost like they're just like, what? And they don't mind it, and it's kind of uncomfortable, and it's like, wait, what's going on here? I do feel like with the 6 of Wands, they are feeling a bit proud right now, and I also think that they are they could have some sort of ego around like around really anyone having an effect on them. I do feel like they want things to work out here, but I also think they don't know what they want to happen. I think they know and they feel that there's something different about you, and there's something different about the two of you. But there's also something very confronting and very overwhelming about being around you, because if they typically have some sort of like, it's just like you inspire energies in them and desires and feelings that they don't typically have, and that nobody else has cultivated within them. And so, like, for example, you know, I think it's a lot easier for this person to be in their ego when they're not around you. When they are around you, I think that like they realize like, oh, I can't have a persona around this person. I can't just be a version of myself that other people like, and I think you even inspire their authentic self. And I think if they've seen that you really like who they are authentically, I think that even is kind of overwhelming, because it makes them realize they can't hide from you. I do think they could be feeling like they are stuck, because I think they do have feelings for you. I do think they feel like there is something significant about you, and I feel like they're kind of like, yeah, if I were the type to have long-term commitments, like group 4 would be it, but I'm not that type of person. But the thing is that you are starting to make them think, well, what if I am that type of person? Well, what if this is something that I want? And I think that's kind of scaring the shit out of them, if I'm being perfectly honest. I feel like they're trying to kind of sort that out, because also too, you know, there's a part of them that's like, well, is this just a fleeting emotion, or is this like here to stay? I think part of them kind of wants to push it off in general, because what that then inspires is, oh, well, if I want that, here are all of the things that I have to do to get there. Like and the thing is that you may not think that they need to do those things. However, maybe they really do need to do those things, at least to be able to show up consistently and be what you need, and be what they think, you know, someone who would be dating them would deserve. And at the same time, I think, you know, knowing the shifts that they have to make and how overwhelming that is, I think there is a part of them that doesn't want to acknowledge what they feel and experience with you, because then they have to contend with, number 1, ego death, and number 2, the reality that they've got a lot of work to do, and they can't just surrender it to the universe. It's ultimately up to them to take action, which they can do, but I think that they feel like, well, they just don't know. Like, I feel like they're kind of frozen right now because they're still just processing all of this. I feel like they see that they could, that you guys could work really well together, and that your differences make each other stronger. And I feel like also too, whatever friendship you guys have cultivated, it is really meaningful for them. And I think that they probably let you in a way that they haven't let others in, because they did feel really comfortable with you. And I think in their mind, they were just like, well, I'm not really a relationship type person anyway. I'm sure they know that. So you know what? It's fine. Like, we're just friends. And now I think they're realizing like, oh, okay, maybe, I feel like they're realizing like they can't have their cake and eat it too. Like, they can't have the type of connection that they want with you, and the type of connection, they can't have the type of connection they want with you, like, and reap the benefits of hanging out with you, being with you, without stepping up and evolving, quite literally. I do feel like as well, though, for some of you, they're not confused. There is deep determination to overcome what's holding them back, to fight against what are defeat whatever is in the way between them being the type of person that they can see being in a committed relationship. And I have to say, a lot of this has to do with like material resources. So, you know, being able to provide, or just being able to like have the time to show up enough, you know, like if they're a workaholic type person, you know, they don't want to neglect you in favor of work. Like, it's like they want to be in a place where they can devote their time and energy to you, in a way where they're not unfairly like neglecting you. And they know that in order to get there, they might have to retreat for a while. And also, in knowing that, I think there's a lot of frustration and tension, because they're like, yeah, but what if group 4 finds someone else? What if group 4 loses interest? What if group 4 loses their desire to hang out with me? What if group 4 ends up hating me? And then I also think with this 7 of Wands being here, it's like, well, I don't want to lose group 4 in the pursuit of this growth, but I also don't want to be like, hey, hang around until I get to this position I think I need to be in. It seems like they're like, what they need to do to get to their desired outcomes, which they are just now starting to realize they even desire them, which is kind of freaking them out. Like, there's a lot of resistance that they have to face. Not resistance towards you, but resistance towards facing themselves, facing what habits keep them stuck in a place they don't want to be. I do feel like this person is guilty of using a low self-esteem as an excuse for complacency, and, you know, just this feeling of like, well, whatever, like nihilism as an excuse to stay the same and not grow and change. And you're kind of showing them, like, one of the things that you have shown them, like, no matter what your situation is with this person, is you have shown them that the world is a lot more beautiful than they gave it credit for. You are showing them that not only is the world beautiful, but the world is kind, and the world is generous, and the world does care. And those are things that they didn't see in other people, but they do see that in you. And I feel like they also see that you guys could really work well together. They feel like you guys could build something really significant, and they do feel like there is a reason why you are brought into their life. But their ego and their fears are really loud right now. And I mean, like, all an ego is, you know, a human response that's trying to address fear. I feel like they're trying to play it cool and trying to figure it out on their own, so you don't know how like shaken up they might be around the situation and around like what might happen. I do feel like it's like, in an ideal world, they wouldn't have to change and they could still have you, and you wouldn't be unhappy with that circumstance. But I think they know that that can't happen, and so something has to change. And so they're kind of in this position right now where they're trying to figure out, what the hell am I going to do, and where the hell do I go from here? So yeah, let's let's go ahead and get you some guidance. And I would also say too, like if you've retreated because they've kind of avoided, or if you've kind of been like backing off because they've been kind of like just not showing up the way you deserve, or just not if you've retreated, they've noticed, and they're like, they miss you, period. And for all of you, they miss you. Like they want to feel closeness with you again. So finishing off, we're just going to look at some guidance for you when it comes to this situation. So we have asked for help. What do you really need? Be willing to accept support. So this may not have to do with this person. You may need to ask for help from someone that you trust. Although, it may even be better to ask like a counselor, or, you know, feel free to ask like your guidance team, or ask the universe, like, what do I do here? And like leave it open. And maybe you just need help not getting stuck in rumination or fear. And so maybe just like asking a friend to hang out. You don't even need to like ask for like help, just help in general. I do think that this person should ask for help, you know, because they don't need to do everything alone the way that they might think they need to. But also, like, when it comes to them, you know, maybe asking for their help in some sort of way could be something that makes them feel like they already have some sort of value to provide for you, because I feel like they don't really see their value quite yet. I think they see their value in very material terms. And so because they haven't been materially where they want to be, they've just kind of accepted. It reminds me of me when I was like in grade school, where like my world and fun would basically end because I got like a C in a class until I improved it, and I would literally be like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if I get a C. I'm fine with being mediocre. And my parents would be like, I don't understand why you're saying that. Like, you shouldn't be fine with that. And like, I would be like, I don't care. Like, it's fine. Like, whatever. Because little did any of us know, your girl was dealing with undiagnosed ADHD and didn't realize that she was really struggling and doing the best that she could. Like, that's why I was really like, yeah, I'm fine with that. Because like, that is what I am able to do without pushing myself or forcing myself to, heaven forbid, study. I'm not doing that. Point being though, that because I felt like I couldn't do better, I instead just accepted my own mediocrity and just decided that that was fine. Even though I had potential for so much more. But part of the reason why I wasn't able to reach my potential is because I didn't have the tools, the information, or the support that I needed. And so sometimes it might be looking at, what support do I need that I'm not getting, or where am I being complacent because I don't think anything there can change? You might want to look at that. And also, C's are not that bad. My parents were just a little bit intense back then. I don't even think they would care now. They would like, it was just, you know, they were young parents. They did their best and they loved us very much, and they're still very wonderful. So don't, if that like upset you in any way, I really hope it didn't, because it's fine. Anyway, okay, other guidance. We have resolution. The trigger statement is, the past haunts me, and the true statement is, in this moment I am free. Let yourself be the one to heal the wounds passed down from your ancestors. The release and growth begins with you. So this might be a situation where you need to release to receive, and what you receive may not be what you want. It could be exactly what you want, but it also could be something different. You never know what it could be, but I do think Spirit is saying resolution is coming here. And you are not tied or bound to anything. Like, I know that we were talking about fate and destiny and things like that, but one of the things about that I think people kind of forget is that when that is involved, that means that you're not stuck to anything, because fate's going to do its own thing and it's going to work with whatever you're doing. Does that make sense? So like, if there is a time where you are, and another thing too is that based on your decisions, you know, fate could make multiple different pathways here. And what is fated could be, what is fated to happen between the two of you, or what, maybe it was just fated to meet, maybe it's fated for you guys to have some sort of soul contract together. Like, it's going to be different for all of you. And I do think for some of you, you might find that maybe you have to ask yourself, are you not being good to yourself, and are you denying yourself your own needs out of the desire for this person to show up in the way that you've been hoping that they would? Or is it a process of being patient and realizing that, like, this is all a growth process and it's going to happen naturally, and you don't feel trapped, you don't feel stuck, you don't feel like this is all on your shoulders to fix, or that you have to deny your desires in order to stay committed to something? The universe is not going to ask you to stay in a situation where you feel miserable, unloved, or unwanted. So if you feel those things, you're not stuck here. You can change, make a decision to change. But also, you don't have to play by anyone's rules but your own. And also, like, you might have to ask yourself, have I been placing an expectation on myself to show up in a certain way because I'm afraid that if I don't, it'll ruin everything? Because if something is truly fated, it doesn't matter how you show up. See what I'm saying? Okay, last guidance card, we have happy success. So yeah, I really feel like just letting go in general, however things resolve themselves, you will be glad. Like, there's beautiful things in the future and in the horizon. And I do feel like whatever happens between the two of you, I think you guys will be very happy and feel like you guys have worked things out successfully. If you guys are already together, like, I definitely think that there will be resolution and success here. And I would say this ask for help is definitely like, hey, maybe you guys should go get counseling together and start, like, get someone else to be an intermediary here and help you guys. But if you're not in a relationship, you might need to go to therapy to just look at, are you being fair to yourself? Are you acknowledging your emotions? Are you acknowledging your needs? Do you know what those needs are? Do you know how to meet them? I feel like that sort of support could just help you have a clarity of mind and a clarity of perspective to make the best decisions for yourself from a place of love for yourself, rather than fear of losing this person should you behave in a way that makes you afraid, like, if you did behave that way, they'd be gone. Because if that is a fear that is controlling you, that's going to lead to a lot of stuckness. And that is definitely going to be a problem until it's resolved. Like, that's because it's just going to create so much tension and frustration. Like, you're literally just betraying yourself over and over again. So it's not fair to you. And I do feel like this person, they want to be fair to you, but they have to start by being fair to themselves and getting a little bit of clarity there. But if you're already in a relationship with them, then I do think that, like, it's more so just a matter of continuing the process of growing and learning. You know, conflict is, and challenges are a great way to mature, to grow, to evolve. But sometimes that takes time, and sometimes there are awkward fluctuations and periods of time where things are not, you know, where either of you would like them to be. But that doesn't mean that it'll be that way forever. It just means that you're both being asked to grow and step up in ways that make the relationship more successful and make the both of you more connected to one another. So group number 4, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That's one of the, at least for the first 30 seconds, that's the simplest and easiest way to show support and appreciation for my channel. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, you can sign up for my class if it's not October 2nd or later. And I will say, even if you're not ready to enroll in a class right now, you still should, because you get lifetime access to it, so you can come back to it literally 10 years in the future if you want to. The only caveat would be, you know, if the technological infrastructure that we have now no longer exists, and that's out of my control. But lifetime access, so long as the infrastructure exists for you to access it, which I will not be taking away. That would be a more world thing. You can like this video, which is super helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. You can comment down below and let me know how it resonates, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out merch, social media, candles. Be sure to use code ESO10 for 10% off. You can check out other videos of mine, ones with extendeds. You can leave me a tip. My Cashapp is palehag, and my PayPal is my email. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So I really hope that this was helpful. The energies here were kind of challenging to discern, so I hope that this was helpful. But just please don't take any messages that stress you out or just make you feel like disconnected from yourself, because those are not messages for you. But thank you guys so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!